Hello, Orville Nation. Welcome, everybody. Excuse me for the scratchy voice. Welcome. Who's ready to talk some Orville? There's been a lot of worry going around about the Orville. We need to set some things straight. And a lot of speculation, but we're going to jump into all that. I want to welcome Gaff. Hello, Gaff. Hello, Sam. Hello, Chuck. Good to see you guys. Hello, Tink. Tink from Orville 24/7 is here, guys. Wow. Look at a Halloween episode. So many random fandoms all over the place. I'm sure we're going to talk about so many random fandoms. Hello, Nate. Nate is on board on the panel, too. And Team Telly is here. Wow, okay. All right, guys. Welcome, everybody, and let's begin. All right. Excuse me. I'm so rusty at this. I've only streamed like 2 times in the last 7 weeks. But welcome to everybody, and welcome to everybody on the rewatches, on the replay as well. Hello, Resolute. Hello, Captain Trek. Captain Trek, I'm going to send you a DM, by the way, just so you know. If you feel like jumping on, you're welcome to. Okay. Let me just make sure I get this out to Captain Trek, because I forgot to give him an invite. And welcome to everybody. So everybody's worried about the Orville. We had production staff. We had Tom Costantino, co-producer of the Orville. We're going to look at that tweet that he put out. He kind of like relaxed everybody a little bit from panic mode. But I think there's a lot more to what's going on. And we're going to take a look at all that. And let's see. We're going to have a few special panelists jumping in soon. And let me just make sure I get this to Captain Trek in case he wants to. I've been meaning to invite him, and I forgot because it's been a crazy day. There you go, Cap. If you feel like it, you're welcome to join us. All right, guys. First of all, we have some stuff to take care of. We have to congratulate one of our own. She is, I'm sure you guys know, she is a not once but 2-time Emmy nominated professional weather witch. Welcome, Katie Nicolau. Hey, Katie.
Hey, thank you so much for that lovely introduction.
We are so happy. It's the first time we streamed together since then. What a wonderful experience. Congratulations. You know, we all think you deserve to win. They probably thought, oh, she's really young. She'll be back next year.
There you go. Yep.
They always do that with the newbies.
Be back. I'll be back until I get that shiny trophy.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, so basically we have Emmy Awards just like the actual Emmys, but they're regionalized for news. And so you win for news broadcast, news stories, sports productions, documentaries, weather, news, everything. And so I submitted one piece, which was a 30-minute show on the Great Flood of 2011 here along the Missouri River. Not everyone knows about that. But I also submitted one individually on a story that I did called The Power of Petrichor. And it covers the topic of petrichor, which any Doctor Who fans would know is pretty cool. And actually, it was Doctor Who that inspired me to do the piece. So when my plaque comes in that says Emmy nominee, I'm going to tweet out to Neil Gaiman, who wrote the episode, and say, thank you for the inspiration.
Wow. Very exciting. Very exciting. And yeah, that was that your first time there?
First time. Yeah, I figured I didn't apply last year because I was young and no one wins when they're young. And this year I thought, yeah, they gave one to my chief last year, so I'm going to give it a shot.
There you go. Now, were you surprised that you got nominated twice?
I had a feeling our flood special would be nominated just because it's very rare that, stations do these specials all in the same year. So like it's staggered, so you have a better chance. Yeah. And I was more surprised with the Petrichor one. I did not think that was my best work, and they loved it. So.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. I do just want to.
Oh, thank you, Tink. Everyone, hello.
And all right. I was looking for your tweet that you tweeted, but I don't see it. So
Which
uh,
one?
you're the like when you're at the Emmys.
Oh yeah, with my
You take it
lovely
down.
blue dress and my River Song hair.
But I guess you took it down, right?
I think it should be up there.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'll find it during the stream. Um,
Okay.
all right. Welcome August. Welcome. Yeah. Welcome Tink, Lorenzo, everybody who's joining us. By the way, guys, if you haven't joined the Orville 24/7, and we're gonna talk to Tink and Lydia at some point. Um, I want you guys to Laura's. I'll just make sure I put this up. Make sure you're following them on Twitter, and we're gonna have to sit down and we're gonna have to do a walkthrough of the Orville 24/7 platform. And make sure you're following them on Twitter, and make sure you go and sign up for the platform. For they have discussion boards. They have interactive chat. They have a lot of cool stuff. And we're gonna, the Orville fandom is growing, so people are going to be using it now. So make sure you guys sign up. This is the Orville. This is their Twitter, and from there you can go to their site. So awesome news, Katie. What's new on so many fandoms, so many random fandoms?
Yes, we are coming up on our finale for Order of the Blue Lotus Season 1 of Avatar The Last Airbender, Siege of the North Part 2. For anyone who hasn't seen Avatar The Last Airbender, it's a cartoon that was on Nickelodeon that is totally for adults. I mean, there's grandparents out there who binge watched it during the pandemic, so it's amazing to see how many new people are in the fandom. And myself and a friend from college who really loved the show started a show of our own where we dive into fan theories and talk about the philosophical meaning of what they put into this children's show and really just have fun with it. It gets kind of weird, but we have fun with it.
Yeah, and they have two great co-hosts, Brandy and Bree, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes. Oh, it's amazing. It's great. We're gonna hopefully expand. We're getting into season 2 next, and then season 3, and it's gonna be so much fun. So hopefully you guys will join along for the ride. I'm also planning another special project that is still in the woodworks, but we gotta see if I have time for it.
Okay, cool. Everybody, make sure you're subscribed to so many random fandoms. And by the way, there's a lot of cool stuff on there. Maybe I'll show something later from there.
Yeah?
If you guys remember that Starfleet meteorologist, that was Katie.
Hello.
So maybe I'll show something during the stream since we're celebrating our friends' nominations today. Okay, so let's continue to introduce people. And of course, ladies first. So I want to welcome somebody who is also part of the Orville Nation family. And she has yes, that's you, Maria. She's looking at me like she doesn't know if we're talking about her. So Maria from T and Telly, aka Mistress Vampira. Welcome, Maria.
Well, hello everybody.
Hey!
Hey, Kate, good to see you.
Good to
Good
see
to see you.
you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Congratulations. And
Thanks for
Oh,
joining
thank
us.
you.
yeah, well, of course, PJ, I pay my fees to be on here like everybody
Aw.
else. Wait, you
She's
guys,
kidding. There's no
wait.
fees.
I'm kidding.
Good
No,
goodwill, a cheerful smile here and there.
you don't. Yeah, hey everybody in the panel. Good to see you here.
So Maria, tell us what's going on in your channel. Again, this is the actual Orville247.com website. So go there. That's the platform. You guys might want to sign up on that. So go check that out. And Maria, tell us what's coming up on your channel.
Oh my goodness. Well, obviously, I started the Mistress Vampira thing for this month, and it's been going really well. And I've been told people want to see her coming out even after Halloween, which is great. But for this month, I can't believe the awesome guests I've had
Wow.
and will be having. I think I'll just go ahead and announce it now since I got confirmation. But I'm going to have my wonderful beautiful friend, Mark Patton, which, if you know, he is the lead in Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Wow.
And then when I had Bill on, he'll be on with me again for that, since he was in the documentary that we will be reviewing. But Mark has some new projects coming up, so I'm glad to hear about that. So I've got that coming up as well. And I'm still getting Kyle on here, even though he's been busy. He still wants to be on here. So I got some great guests lined up, some awesome things coming up.
Yeah. And so your guest, if I'm not mistaken, is this gentleman right here. That's when is that going to be?
Well, we are setting a time.
Okay.
He just talked to me today and said he would love to be on here. Yes, that's
That's it.
my,
The guy on the
my,
left.
Awesome.
my BFF. I just love him dearly. My birthday buddy. So yes, he just told me he'd love to be on here. So I'm going to have him on. I'm excited
Nice.
for that. Yeah.
Very cool. And you're also going to be doing Farscape, right?
Yes, I'm squeezing Farscape in still. I had Farscape on hold for a little bit while the Vampira took over, but I'm trying to put her in her place to allow me to do Farscape.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I want to introduce somebody who is somebody. We have a lot of people like Gap and Nate who are waiting on. These guys have amazing content, and as soon as they start, they're kind of setting things up. As soon as they start their channels, you will be getting amazing content from them. So I want to introduce one of these people from our community, from Nate Knows Reviews. Welcome, Nate. Good to see you, my friend.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for having me.
Hi.
And hello, everybody.
Hey, Nate.
Nate has blessed us with his presence.
Yes. Wow.
Nate have gotten off from his real life job for once.
And you know, Nate, I don't want to put you on the spot, but
Yes.
in 2022 we might see your channel.
Oh, yes, you'll probably see my channel in 2021.
Okay, 2021. Oh, well, that's really exciting. Okay, there's some great content coming from Nate, guys. He's got some great insights. That's why we invited him today. So anything coming up that you want to just mention, Nate?
Not at the moment, but stuff will be coming, and you will be the first to know.
Awesome. Please, yeah, please. All righty. I want to welcome somebody who you guys all know. In the morning, he brews coffee for the whole community, and although we never get to taste it, but we get to hear him talking about it. So, welcome, Captain Trek, and we are blessed. Captain Trek is on camera. Welcome, Captain Trek.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I am great.
Good to hear.
Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you. No, I don't know about the morning brew, but we'll we'll talk about that later.
Okay. But he has a great channel, and I will be putting it up. You have a wrench. Can you put it up, Cap?
I've already done it.
Okay, but we'll put it up again. And I wanna anything. What's coming up next in your channel?
Right now I'm working on a couple different things. I am going to continue doing random brew crews, usually in the evenings. So,
Okay.
Like now would be when.
Okay. Cool.
If I were on.
All right. So, well, I hope. Are you doing it tonight?
No.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. I want to invite, welcome. Oh, we have one of our guests has popped in. I want to welcome as well George Peter Gatsis, who you guys all know, the mastermind of creation. If you guys only knew what this guy does behind the scenes, welcome George Peter Gatsis.
Howdy.
Hey.
Hello, everybody.
Or should I call you
Hello.
Joe?
George.
No, George is just fine. George is just fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's up, George? How is your
Not so good. It's not going good at all. I had an argument with my wife just before the show. You know, she told me, we should split up because I keep pretending to be a detective, and I told her, you know what? That's a good idea. We can cover more ground.
Nice.
That's funny.
Slow clap in the background.
Oh, thanks for the shout out. Hello, Kai. Hello, Purple Valkyrie. And thank you for the shout out. JP could not join us in the end, but he says just popped in really quick before I head out to give. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Shout out to Nate. Thank you, JP. Good to see you, my friend. And I'm sure everybody here is subscribed to JP, but if you're not, you should be.
JP.
As well as our next guest. Really quick, George, what's coming up on your channel, and tell us what you're doing on Fridays and Saturdays.
Oh yeah. Friday nights, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and Saturdays the same time, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We do movie serials on Fridays. We roast them and make fun of them, and we learn from them. And Saturdays we actually watch movies. And these are not. The movies are on the screen. You don't have to like source it out and sync up to our show. We have the movie right on the screen. We're watching it. Everyone's watching it. You can watch it on playback, and we roast it as often as we can. But a lot of the times, it's become educational because we've actually discovered a lot of the scenes that are in Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and Terminator, and all this stuff. They all these particular epic scenes originated from all these movie serials and vintage movies. And it just blows our mind every time. I mean, just last week we saw the Ghost in the Invisible Bikini, and that came out 2 or 3 years before Scooby-Doo. The entire movie is literally Scooby-Doo without the dog.
It was a Scooby-Doo movie.
It was mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing. They did the whole thing running in the hallway from room to room. The color scheme of the characters, it was incredible. It was literally Scooby-Doo without the dog.
It's a lot of fun, guys. Join George and his crew Friday, Saturday nights, and sometimes I jump in there, and sometimes other people might as well. I want to welcome. Excuse me.
Try it again.
Welcome our next guest. His name is Shane. I'm sorry, Brian, and impersonating Shane, or it says not Shane. Welcome the podcast from the Popcast guys. Welcome, Brian. Welcome, my friend.
Hey!
Good to see you.
Yeah, this is not Shane.
What's up, Brian?
Shane was supposed to be here, but he's still in traffic. So I'm actually talking to you from his setup, not mine.
I was just gonna say that's his setup, right?
Yeah, this is his setup.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I wanted to say hello. I wish I could be on the stream myself, but I'm gonna try to hold on until he gets here. You know, and then I'll go back to work.
If you guys, if you need to not do that, that's okay. Don't worry about it.
No. We said we would do it. So
and you didn't have to do this.
I
I appreciate it, but you didn't have to super chat.
Oh no, I like super chatting though. I like throwing money around like a strip club. Yeah, here we go. Welcome to the party. What's up? Yeah, but when Shane gets here,
for everybody.
when Shane gets here, he'll be here, and I'll go back to my day job. But how you guys doing? What's up? What's going on? What are we talking about?
We're talking about everybody panicking about the Orville.
What about panic?
I was gonna send everybody a link to one of your videos too. I was gonna share a link to one of your videos. But what's your opinion on all this?
I'm afraid
before
to say
we
too
lose you to
much.
Shane.
I'm afraid to say too much because this Saturday, there's a big video coming out where we break everything down, and we talk to people behind the scenes, and we sort of get a really clear picture on what's happening. And to be fair, not all is lost. There can definitely be another season after this season, but some things will have to happen for that to happen. And we break that down really well on this video that we're launching on Saturday. I'm actually in the middle of editing right now, and I think that it will answer a lot of those questions. That video we made, the live stream that was in the members section, that was just us spitballing. We didn't really know. And then we went and spent some time actually talking to folks and figuring it out. So,
okay. Well, do you want? I just shared it, so I don't know if you want me not to share it.
Oh, no. I don't know. I don't know. Look, that is all just massive speculation.
That was a reaction video to the news. Yeah.
Right. It literally came out 5 minutes after the news. But this Saturday, we actually source information. We figure out what's possible. We have like addresses and the math has been checked and the T's have been crossed per se. And that will happen this Saturday. So whatever you're seeing in that link, that's all just a couple of dummies speculating about.
Well, no, that was the initial fan reaction to it was because I mean everybody, and until I'm going to show you guys the post from Tom. Really, until we got this post from Tom, there was a lot of people really worried.
Right, and that post from Tom is a little vague too. So, you know, I'm all about the hopium. I'm breathing the hopium in. You know, but I think the fans are going to have to come out for this one. I think it's going to require the fans to get in there and really make our love of the Orville shown, so that the powers that be do what they got to do to make sure it happens.
Now before we lose you to Shane at some point, let me just ask you, Brian, do you think you and I probably heard, not everybody heard about it. Like we heard about this in May. Right. I was told about it right after it happened by thanks to Tink from Orville 24/7. Scott said this in May, right? That
right.
And then
we
Adrian
didn't run with it though, because it was just Scott talking to one of his buddies. It was sort of non-committal. But then when it was also Adrian Palicki saying pretty much the same thing, and she was a lot more determined, like it was a lot more finite with her. She was like, we're locking up, the lights are being turned off, it's end of an era. You're like, wow, okay, that's very finite. There wasn't a whole lot of room there for interpretation. So when she said it, that's when we went out with it. But yeah, we also heard about it at the same time with Scott, and we just went, oh, hope he misspoke, you know.
Now we're going to get into it. Some of the guys on this panel agree with this. I know Nate and I have talked about it, and George and I have talked about it, that we think there's a big grand master plan to Seth's strategy. Does anybody want to share? Does anybody think that all that we're seeing is just part of Seth's big plan? Anybody want to?
I mean
sorry. That's funny. We'll both start with I think when it comes to sci-fi nowadays, it's going to really rely more and more on these streaming platforms that have sources of income that are just far exceeding what some other productions can have these days. If you aren't the Big Bang Theory, if you aren't like all these shows that were big hits, you aren't going to have the best budget. And for sci-fi, you have to have a budget. So, I mean, I think it's one of those, well, we had a momentary panic. Things are back on course now, and it's better than ever. Right. But I'm a perpetual optimist. So who knows?
Did you want go ahead? Go ahead, Brian. Sorry. Do you want to say?
No, I was going to say Shane's chair is super uncomfortable, and I'm just realizing that right now. I'm having a really hard time like getting positioned. So really,
is he taller than you?
Yes, he is taller than me.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's gosh.
How is so? What's your 2 cents? Do you think we're serious? We're just seeing part of a normal evolution in Seth's master plan? Shane, I'm
sorry, Brian. Oh my. No, I don't. I think that Seth is a real smart guy, and he's a genius, and he takes it as it comes, and then he makes the best he can out of it. And I think more than here's my headcanon here. This is from me. This is not from Shane, because he disagrees with me on this. I think that Seth wants to move the Orville. I think that he doesn't want to do the Orville where it's at anymore. And he says, if I'm going to keep doing it, I want to do it where I'm comfortable. He has a contract coming up with Peacock, which is a big deal. But moving all those sets and all that stuff, that's a pain. That is a task. You know, we were actually at the set, and it's massive. You know, to take those sets out, you're going to have to break it up into many, many, many small pieces.
You were at the season 2 or the season 3 set?
The season 2 set.
Okay.
Nice.
And you're going to have to break it up into many, many pieces. It's going to be a big deal. And so I think that I don't think he wants to do it at the Fox lot anymore. And I think that for now, until he figures out where it's going to go and how it's going to happen, we're just going to be in this limbo after this next season. Doesn't mean it's over. It's totally possible that he's just, it's just over for now until he figures out where it goes. He does own it. It's owned by Seth. He can do whatever he wants with it.
So yeah, it is owned by Fuzzy Door, right?
Right. And Hulu can air it even if it's not shot at Fox. It doesn't have to be shot at Fox for Hulu to air it. So he can keep his contract with Hulu he wants, or Peacock, and he can air them there, and it could be shot, at NBC or something, whoever. I'm not sure. But that's what I'm hoping is the case, is that after this season they go, okay, well, let's lock it up, turn the lights off, break everything down, and let's figure out where we're going to go. Almost like, imagine if you're moving, you have to move, but you don't have a house yet. What are you going to do? You're going to throw everything in the storage and sort of figure it out. And then you announce where the stuff's going and how it's happening and all that. So I think that's probably where it's at right now. That's my opinion. That's based on no relevant data.
Let me just
what Shane says is when what Shane sends his video, his opinion is a little more educated and it's based on information. So I'm hoping that what I just said was the case. But Shane actually has a more educated opinion about it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, I was just going to say that actually NBC is the original station for Star Trek. The original.
That's true. Yeah.
So
and I think the broadcast rights, though, in like the late 80s, 90s, were owned by UPN, right? I think. Yeah.
Yes. Because they tried to launch UPN. Oh my gosh, I went blurry. They tried to launch UPN with Voyager.
Right.
Now, Nate, do you wanna? I just asked Brian about this. Is there, is this all an evolution of Seth's master plan? Where do you think we are in the evolution of the Orville? And is this just part of Seth's plan to maybe move the Orville?
Well, I think, he may want to move the show. I hope it doesn't go to Peacock. They won't have the budget for it. Peacock is a free streaming service. I know they owned by Comcast, but either he should keep it at Hulu, move it to Disney Plus, or maybe even Netflix.
Is Peacock free? I've been paying for it for like 6 months. What am I doing?
Partial content.
Well, you can pay if you don't want commercials, but most people who have it, they just watch.
You also get extra content for if you pay.
Yes.
But
yeah, you get some movies and stuff that you won't get on the free. But most people just have it for the free.
The new Halloween movie is out right now on Peacock.
That's right.
Yeah, but if you're not paying for it, you won't be able to see it.
I see. I actually found they made Psych the movie. Like, remember Psych the TV show? Peacock.
I love that TV show.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. And I was just perusing Peacock and I found a Psych the movie.
Say what, son?
What? Yeah. I found the movie. And I'm like, how did they launch this service with this cult class, following TV show and never even advertise it? Peacock just doesn't. They don't know how to advertise it appropriately.
They just got one movie. They actually have three. They have 3 Psych movies.
Right, they have 3 Psych movies. I found the Hollywood movie by accident. I was literally searching when it was going to be. I was going to buy tickets to go to the theater, and I saw it was on Peacock, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'll just watch it here.
Now, let me just. I'm gonna pose this question to the next question to. I'm gonna pose the same question to George and Captain Trek, but I'm gonna also add this image. We have seen. Oh, where'd it go? We have seen a lot of NBC actors appear, like former NBC actors appear on the Orville. And most notably, we even saw them watching Seinfeld on the bridge. Mm-hmm. And we have Ted Danson as an admiral. We have Jason Alexander as the bartender, and we have what's his name, who plays Putty on Seinfeld as the I forget his name. But George, let me ask George first. What do you think about where are we on the evolution of the Orville? Is this all planned out by Seth?
Yeah, very, very basically, the Orville, Family Guy, all this stuff. It's a bargaining chip for Seth. His movies are not a bargaining chip because the movies themselves, movies now are sort of a dying breed. I don't think that we'll ever get the grandeur that we got before the virus. And so Seth having the Orville, having an established audience that follows him wherever he goes, having the Family Guy, same thing, established audience following him wherever he goes. That's eyeballs. That's eyeballs that any production studio would kill for. So I think I think what's going on is just a bargaining move. It's not canceled legally. He has to say it's canceled because contracts. As soon as the contract runs out, hey, look at this. We're continuing the show over here, not over there, over here. It's that simple. That's what I think is going on, because there's no way. He's a business guy. There's no way he's going to spend all this time and energy and years of development and relationships, and he's going to burn it all to the ground. I find that highly unlikely.
And not having thought it through, right?
Yeah.
Captain Trek, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, I do believe it's going to be temporarily canceled until they can find a new home for it. But obviously, with him owning the rights, he knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he wants to do.
Yeah, you remember Family Guy went to premium cable for a while, remember? And the response was so epic that Fox put their tail between the legs and gave him a lot more money to bring Family Guy back. So
that's true. You're right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this just may be a play to get more money for the Orville. You know, once season 2 come out, we all go crazy for it. It's talked about all over the place because it is the Star Trek for the next generation. Let's face it. So then he said, "Hey, you want me on your service? Give me a little bit more money for my budget."
Thanks, Chuck. That's right, Patrick Warburton. Thank you, Chuck. And we're gonna have Chuck on a panel soon. Maria, aka Mistress Vampira, do you want to any thoughts on this?
Well, I think George said exactly what I was thinking too. You know, that man is a genius. He has plan A and plan B, and I just think it's something he can't really discuss at the moment, obviously, for legalities. And but I just, like he said, this is his baby. He's not just going to drop it. He's got plans. He knows what he's doing. So I'm not worried about it.
There's going to be so does anybody here think that Orville might be discontinued? Does anybody have that fear?
I mean, it's a possibility for sure.
Really? You think it's a possibility?
I mean, I'm the pessimist one of the brothers. My brother's a lot more hopeful than I am. All good things must come to an end, but even worse in Hollywood, the best of things are always canceled too early.
Well, but here's the thing. One, Orville has the current status of fandom on its side because sci-fi has made such a resurgence. I'd say basically after J.J. Abrams rebooted Star Trek, that's when we started to see more and more reboots and shows coming on. So it's a hot market. Every, I guess, network wants to have some kind of sci-fi show to compete with. And then also, I think someone put it in the comments, this is one of the highest rated sci-fi shows out there. It went from almost a 0 Rotten Tomatoes score after the first 2 episodes to now almost 100%. So that amount of improvement and growth, plus the thing is, it talks about current situations and current hot topics in a way that de-escalates it, which is something that no network is doing right now. So if they see the value, if any network sees the value in that, they're going to scoop it up no matter what.
I mean, you're right. Orville is amazing. It's my favorite TV show right now. But even though it's highly rated, and I'm not trying to be a doomer, guys. I mean, I'm trying to be ultra realistic.
Seth has paid Brian off to create panic.
That's not true. Wait a minute. I can't hear you. Break it up. No, but it is highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes and other websites. But the actual viewership is not as high as other shows are. It hasn't gotten the play. I was a little bummed out that season 1 was so lowly rated by critics. because that meant that it didn't get like coveted spots on the front page of Rotten Tomatoes and other websites. We love it and it's amazing, but there are other sci-fi shows that do that have better ratings, right? And it's very hard to tell because it's all streaming. On that same note, Fox is like monumentally good at screwing up good things. They canceled Firefly after one season. They aired everything out of order. They had no idea what to do about it. It was so bad, yet so loved, that another studio invested millions of dollars to make the movie.
Yeah.
And Fox couldn't figure out who had the rights to the TV show, and that's why it wasn't named Firefly. I'm not joking. They're half what they do is a joke over there. Not just Firefly, but there's actually a lot. Go back and look at a lot of the pilot seasons of TV shows that were really cool that were canceled, not just because of money, but like in their mind, they didn't buy off on the future buy off, and they didn't understand it and it didn't fit some weird pre-existing mold they had, because that's what they do. They go, well, we need to fit a mold. We need this to be, is this reality? Is it science fiction? Oh, it's science fiction comedy. Is that a thing? Oh, you mean like Galaxy Quest? I guess like everything has to have like some pre-existing mold for them, or they don't feel comfortable with it. And even if they give it a shot, like with someone like Seth MacFarlane, who has a long track record of greatness, what do? The first season of the Orville, it was literally marketed as like Family Guy in space, right? Which it wasn't. No, I have friends of mine that are big Star Trek fans that wouldn't even watch it at first because they thought it was Family Guy in space and they weren't interested.
And still won't watch it. Some of them,
right? Yeah, and when they finally, some of them finally did, and they were like, "Oh, this is actual sci-fi, interesting." So it was, it's there. The current studio that it's being filmed in are they're very good at ruining good things.
Now, Brian, Hulu does want a season 4, right? It's more like Seth just hasn't renewed, right?
Right. So it's not just I don't want to tip my hand too much, but yes, Hulu wants season 4. That's what they say. That doesn't mean that's what they're saying to Seth. That doesn't mean that they're saying that, loud and proud, so that the value of the show for a recontract goes higher, right? So yes, some people over there say that. That's not necessarily what that means. They might be holding out for a better contract. They might be holding out for a longer contract. What if they go, well, your contract's up this time. We want 4 years or 4 seasons. And Seth's not comfortable with that. Maybe Seth goes, we'll put it on Hulu, but it can't be at Fox. But Hulu might have a deal with Fox, but that's their slot. There's so many, especially with Hulu. Hulu, at one point was owned by like 15 companies. It's a lot less companies now.
It's what, 2 companies now?
3, I think.
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on that. But at one
I
point,
think it's technically only one. Disney owns Fox, and Fox owns Hulu.
No.
Disney owns the majority of the shares.
Yes, Disney owns the majority of it, but some of the license rights are still under other studios. ABC, NBC. NBC is there's still NBC stuff at Hulu because they still have rights to Hulu shares. So there's a time where the license rights were all over the place because so many companies were involved in it. Now it's mainly Disney, which is true, but a lot of those contracts still exist, which is why you still see shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine on Hulu when it's literally on a competing streaming network on Peacock, for free. And that's because of license rights and contracts. And so, maybe they like it, but they don't want to go too crazy and put themselves in a bad position when it comes to negotiating for a longer term or less money or more money or whatever, It's up in there. We are not going to know until we know,
Brian, before we lose you to Shane, because I want to get a 2-for-1 with you guys for your opinions. What do you think about the fact that because Nate and I were talking about this week about what Seth is probably trying to build a very large universe. That's what Nate and I think. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to let Nate get into it further later, but I mean, what does it say, the fact that Favreau helped launch the Orville. I mean, does that say anything about building a big universe?
I mean, hey, I would love to see Chef and Swingers in the Orville. Make it a part of there. We did see a Family Guy episode where they referenced the Orville, which is cool. I mean, yeah,
I love that reference so much.
And he shoots the TV.
much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome. That'd be awesome. That'd be amazing if they had some crazy shared universe like that. And if anybody can pull that off, it'd be Seth and Favreau.
Well, I don't know. I don't necessarily mean a shared universe, but I'm saying like that he's building a big like Star Trek has a big universe and a lot of series and spin-offs and.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, you mean, yeah, I guess it's possible. I mean, I gotta say, when we saw the first season of Orville, I thought to myself, man, Seth MacFarlane is a great writer, a great director. He's really funny, but he's just sort of a one-dimensional actor. He's just Seth, right? And I can totally see this if this ends up going like a 20-season big Star Trek-esque, IP. I can see Seth getting off at some point, at the next stop and letting someone take over on screen so he can manage the whole thing. Because
do you see a spinoff with
possible? Adrian
Voyager
Palicki she's a hard worker. I can totally see a spinoff with her, and maybe Seth makes appearances as like an admiral or something. I don't know. It's totally possible though.
Nate, we talked a lot about the expanded universe, like a really expanded universe. You want to start? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think if anything, Seth MacFarlane might let Family Guy go. That will be the one to get canceled. And he'll put all his attention on the Orville and expanding that universe because Family Guy won't be his legacy. The Orville will.
Wow. See, that's a big thing to say. What? Yeah, 20 years from now, what do you guys think about that? About what if Seth's legacy is Orville and not Family Guy and American Dad?
See, this is what I think. He's been doing Family Guy for about 20 years, was it? 22 years now? Something along those lines, in one way or another. And I mean, even just having a job for that long, you start to think, okay, when are you going to move on? When are you going to do something different? And I feel like at this point in his career, his Family Guy's still going strong, still has a ton of viewers. I still watch it myself. But he might be starting to think, okay, what do I want this next stage of my career to be? And I think that the easiest outlet for that is the Orville, because not only is it really a hit with fans, but also he can play God in this universe. And it's not very often that you can see a creator of a show, a writer of a show, the main actor of a show be able to bend it at their will. So it just makes more sense than going in any other direction. Unless we get A Million Ways to Die in the West sequel, then I'd go that way.
I don't know. Didn't Fox just renew it though? And don't they have like first right to renew it or not?
Oh, Family Guy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I figured that show will probably keep going, but like if he's looking forward and down the road, eventually they'll probably end up finishing up Family Guy. But then again, I say the same thing about The Simpsons. So
yeah, if they finish Family Guy though, they couldn't move it. I think Fox has first rights to like if it's being aired, which means in order to finish Family Guy, that means that Family Guy would be done. He couldn't just take it to Peacock.
Yeah.
Well, Captain Shrek, what does it say that Seth went to so much trouble to be on an official Star Trek show?
Wow. Definitely a fan.
I would pay for my flight. I would pay for my hotel. I would pay for my own food and the air that I would breathe if I could be on Star Trek or the Orville. I feel like I should tweet that out and just be like, I have background extra experience. Yeah. I work for free.
Tom and Seth, if you're listening, that's a pitch.
I should tweet Tom and just be like, bro, please, season 4, hit me up. Do like a meteorology episode.
I mean, we need galactic weather.
Yes, exactly.
I'd be happy being a toilet cleaner. I don't care. I'd do that.
Shove me into a body bag on the Orville. Like, I don't care. As long as I'm on set.
I'll be a red shirt.
Yeah. It's got a good dying face. Just
George, what do you think about what do you think? I mean, I don't want us to sound, because I'm a psychologist, I don't want this to sound like we're doing a psychobiographical analysis of Seth, but I mean, we kind of are a little bit, because that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be looking at what makes Seth tick. And what do you say about the fact that it was so important to him to be on Star Trek, George?
Well, if we're going to psychoanalyze Seth, I would say that he likes to walk around in slippers and pink socks. But again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm just pretending. Okay, I'm just pretending.
Play one on TV.
Yeah, that's right. The thing about the Star Trek universe and Star Wars universe being huge and expansive is a red herring. The actual universe of these products is very small, very, very small. It's minute, actually. What makes these universes big is the participation of the ancillary products in books and games. That's what makes these universes huge, and that's not the participation of the people who actually created the primary content, TV and movies. That's the people who love what has been created, and they have been expanding on it.
Let me
what the Orville needs is the people who are loving this universe to expand on it to make it that much richer.
Fan fiction.
No,
George,
not fan fiction. Approved content.
George, I want to do a quick promo of you. Tell people really quick how you take a concept from idea to comic book to action figure to models, etc.
I see what somebody else did. I swipe it, I steal it. I put a little bow tie on it, and then I call it George.
All right, let me do that promo for George.
I like that concept.
No, he just described what Alex Kurtzman does, which is different.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
We were thinking that, right, Nate? No, just so you guys know,
I was actually describing Alex Kurtzman.
Okay.
Alex Kurtzman and J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
Two are the most overrated hacks I've ever seen.
I just to be really quick, guys. Any but creators out there, George is really good at helping you develop your idea, especially with comics. And George is also involved in 3D printing, and he actually has even he actually does his own action figures for his own comic books. So and spaceships. So anybody need that kind of help out there, George is the man.
And I cook my own food. I have on speed dial Harvey's, McDonald's, and KFC.
Okay, Katie, no worries. Now, Captain Trek, you're not worried at all about cancellation of the Orville, even though Bird of Prey has been beating you over the head with it. It's canceled, beating us all over the head that it's been canceled.
Oh, who listens to Bird? I mean, come on. Kuroga, yeah. No.
You're not worried.
Not worried.
All right. Gosh, Gap Stargate, wants me to do some clicking. I try not to do clicking on the internet.
So Captain Trek, if you need to drop out, go ahead. But you're welcome to stay, dude. Whenever you need to drop out, just let me know.
Okay.
Now I want to show actually, I'm going to ask Captain Trek the next question. Let me see if I get let me see if I get this right. Now, when we're talking about, we were just asking Brian about the world building, the universe building. I'm going to put this on in the background, and you guys, I think most of you guys have seen this at some point. I'm not playing the audio, but I'm just going to share. I'm going to show. 1 second. you guys all remember, I think, that when we let me turn off the audio because it's distracting me. One sec. Sorry. There we go. Okay. You guys have probably all seen this. It's several people have it on their channels. It has to do when Seth interviewed George Lucas. And Captain Trek, I don't know if you're familiar with this footage, but Seth went to Lucasfilm, and this was about the same time that George was going to sell, was thinking about talking with Disney about selling, and initial conversations with them. What do you have you seen this footage about him interviewing George?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so
I need
has
to
it
do that.
basically he just he goes, this is you see David Goodman there. He goes and he does this interview. This kind of documents his visit to Lucasfilm, and of course they worked. Family Guy has done a lot of things with Star Wars, and I think that the fact that I think this is indicative of some kind of mentorship, even though it's not direct. Like Seth is learning from certain people in the industry about what universe building is all about. Any comments on that, Captain, or anybody else?
Seth is a brilliant sponge. I think he learns from every single person he comes in contact with. He's like one of us with access. He's a fan, and he just soaks it all in as a fan. But as a businessman, he internalizes it, analyzes it, and uses it.
Yeah. Does it Captain Trek? Does it surprise you that he would go ahead and have this document his visit to Lucasfilm this way?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. I mean, George Lucas is an icon. Of course, I would want to document it.
Yeah. Do you think in the back of his head? Well, what do you think about this whole building a whole expanded planetary union universe? Do you think that's possible in Seth's head?
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it.
Nate, you said it very clear about the you said it very clear about the about his legacy. He's here he is looking at George. He's seeing George's legacy. Does Seth see himself in George?
I think he more likely sees himself in Roddenberry.
Okay.
I think Seth is not actually thinking just for the now while he's alive. He's also thinking about when he's in the ground and what he leaves behind.
Okay.
You know, he's not getting younger. None of us are. He's getting older. He's thinking about what he's going to leave behind. And he's thinking to himself, am I going to be remembered when people talk about Seth MacFarlane and Family Guy and American Dad? Or do I want them to say Seth MacFarlane, Orville, and that whole Union universe, movies and spin-off TV shows and comic books and video games? That's what he wants.
Yeah. Maria, what do you think? Does Seth see does Seth is, I mean, on some level, like Nate is probably right about him emulating Roddenberry more in a sense, but is he also emulating Lucas?
Well, I think he is taking a lot of tips from him but turning them into his own concepts. One of the things that ticked me off once is that I heard somebody say is that Seth is a copycat, that he sees other people's ideas and takes them for himself and just twists them. And I don't see that at all, because
Really?
everything
Yeah.
to me that he does is although it may emulate it in some way, it's still his own, and he puts a twist on it and giving it the Seth stamp. But so I don't see him as a copycat. I think Nate is right that he is a sponge. He tends to absorb information from everybody he comes in contact with, because you can see it in his work, whatever work he's doing. But that's genius. I mean, I worship the man's brain, because he is so good at what he does, by taking something and making it to where, like Kate said, that You discuss something serious, but make it too comfortable for everybody. Not everybody can do that. And so, but I think he gathered that from different sources, with different people, just like we all learn from other people, I think. So,
Some of Seth's real magic is his way to use words, which is kind of a cliche when it comes to writers, but he can genuinely, like the Mocklin episode with 9 to 5 playing. You are talking about the extinction of the female side of a species. Like, that should be big news and a heavy topic. But it's palpable because you have these funny, humorous moments, so your brain can process what this serious stuff is going on. And he doesn't even tell you what's right or wrong. He just gives you the presentation. Most people would agree with the crew of the Orville. Some people might agree with the villains. But he gives you that choice. And I think that's one of the big things that people have a problem with in New Doctor Who, is it doesn't really give you the choice to choose which side is right or wrong. Even if you'd agree, people don't like being told this is right and this is wrong.
That's true.
Yeah,
Now,
same
Katie-
thing with the new Star Trek too. They don't tell you to think; they try to tell you what to think.
Katie, I know we're going to lose you in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Are you? Is the comedy component, even though sometimes it's a little slapstick, is the comedy component actually making the whole experience more believable than traditional sci-fi?
Absolutely, because I go back and I watch Star Trek on the regular because I have no life, but I love watching it and seeing all the series over and over. But I look at it, I'm like, I wouldn't be able to be on that ship. Lower Decks is the closest I've come to feeling like I could be on a Star Trek ship and a Starfleet ship. But that's a lot like the Orville. And so you have to have comedy, a little bit of slapstick here or there, because that happens in real life. And as long as you don't overdo it, like the first few episodes, okay, they might have overdone it a little bit just so Seth could please the network and make it look, it is Family Guy in space. Okay, we're going to kill everyone. Like, he is brilliant with how he worked that in. And now with the finale in season 2, you just realize he's got a plan. He genuinely has a plan for where the series is going. And that's why I have so much hope that this is going to keep on going.
If they can keep 2 broke girls going for like a skillion seasons.
Exactly.
Come on.
Or Scorpion. Oh, that thing jumped the shark. And they kept it kicking for like 3 more seasons.
Oh.
And the rebooted Magnum PI.
NCIS Hawaii. Like, there's all these ideas being thrown around, and Orville's the most original. Even for the people who say it's just a Star Trek copycat. You look at the content, it's the most original.
Well, I actually take offense when people keep saying that it's a Star Trek copycat. It's not. It is an homage. It is a love letter to the legacy, the ideals, and the memory of Gene Roddenberry. It's not a copycat. It is his own thing while letting you know I love Star Trek.
Now, my question for you guys is, do you think Gene would approve of the Orville? Gene Roddenberry?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. He would definitely approve of the Orville, and he would not approve of STD.
He would have a fit about why they didn't sign Seth at CBS.
Right.
Yes, he would. I always like to say you could run the world on clean energy by the amount of times insert creator here is spinning in their grave.
Yeah.
Let me just read Tink's one comment. Tink says, if you think franchise instead of universe, it's clearer. Maybe. I see Seth as a visionary on par or greater than Rod Serling. Wow. Okay.
That's an excellent assessment.
I don't agree with that statement. Rod Serling reinvented the story, or invented.
George, let me just say bye to Katie. Katie, thank you for joining us. Dual Emmy Award winning. Nominated. Sorry.
The winning will come in. I have an idea, guys. I have an idea. Mark my words. Next year.
You got it.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Now I'm motivated.
You got this.
Katie, thank you so much. Have a great day, and you're going to be at Virtual TrekCon now.
Yeah, I'm going to scoot over there.
Is
real
it
quick,
live
and
or
then I'm
not?
going to bed.
Is it going to be live, Virtual TrekCon?
I think so. I'm not entirely sure.
Right,
it doesn't start for a little bit, but I have to get there early. So,
okay.
See you guys.
Bye.
Okay. Have fun, but keep it legal.
Sorry, George. Go ahead.
You can't compare what Rod Serling did with the Twilight Zone, the Night Gallery, with what Seth is doing with the Orville. It's night and day. The Orville in itself is an ongoing narrative. It's a singular narrative. The Twilight Zone was, I think, over 170 distinct movies that onto themselves produced. It wasn't a single narrative. You're literally watching a brand new concept every single time. That is very, very difficult to execute. In fact, it's unheard of even today. They try to do it with what's that thing called? Amazing Stories. They
also try to do it with
the
Black
Creep
Mirror.
Show.
Black Mirror.
Yeah,
Black Mirror is the closest they've come in a long time.
they even tried to reboot the Twilight Zone and all that stuff, but it's always failed. They never gone past the initial season one, whatever you want to call it, or episodes, because they couldn't maintain the level of quality, the level of commitment, the what do you call
Creativity.
the creativity that's Rod Serling put into the writers and the producers and the actors. He put 100% of his faith into the teams that brought forth a brand new episode, brand new concept every week. That's unheard of.
Let me just say thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk from our Midnight's Edge family. Thank you for the super sticker, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Let me just take a look at what it is. And thank you, my friend. It was very generous. And it's a, what is it? It's the little fox jumping him. How's it going? Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk.
And I also want to add that but on the flip side, what Seth is doing that Rod Serling hasn't done as much is that Seth has actually put his faith in productions as a producer. I mean, he brought Cosmos, an updated version of Cosmos with I forgot the black gentleman,
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah. And that in itself speaks loudly to Seth's love of sci-fi, to space, to the unknown. It falls in line exactly with what he is. It has a singular purpose, always looking towards the future, always looking for something new or over the horizon.
Maria, were you going to say something?
No, maybe, I'll insert it later. That's
okay,
right.
insert later. Okay, let me just show you guys real quick. We had a poll going in the chat. Right now, that poll is going as follows. We asked if people thought that this is going to be the last season of the Orville, and about 27% say yeah, it's going to be the last season of the Orville, and 73% of you guys say no. What do you guys think about Maria? What do you think about this poll? Are people there's actually 25% of people who think this is it.
Well, I can see that because of all the other disappointing cancellations of things. So they're not, they're kind of like, all right, well, it's good. So therefore, they're just going to get rid of it because they do. But I don't know. I mean, I was just thinking, I think you had mentioned this before about the hidden messages behind the Orville and Seth. I think he's got some serious stuff up his sleeve. But so I'm not even worried about it. But yeah, I can see that some percentage of people that would be.
Nate, does this surprise you, this poll, at all?
No, it doesn't surprise me. It has 73% that says yes. And the 27% will come around as soon as season 3 drops. As soon as they see season 3 and they see how awesome it is, you put this poll back up, it's going to be 100% no.
Okay, George, anything surprising about this poll to you?
Well, I'd say 50% of the 73 would change their mind, and 40% of the 27% would actually consider watching something else. But then again, altogether, another 66% of them combined would actually try to figure out what are we talking about.
That was a very George answer. Thank you, George.
I can tell you this: 100% chance of confusion right now.
Galinda says, "I'm optimistic, even after so many great shows get axed." Yeah, I think ultimately it comes down to. I think this is a really personal thing for Seth doing the Orville. He really went out of his way to be in Star Trek and to take over Star Trek, and they didn't give it to him. So what? He's gonna make, like you said, he's gonna make Star Trek with blackjack and hookers, but he's gonna make it. I think the Orville is in many ways is better already than Star Trek, because of the comedy component. Some of the most memorable scenes in Star Trek have humor in them.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I know who's really kicking himself right now. The people who created Galaxy Quest, because they said, "Man, we should have did a TV show."
That's a good point. I don't know if I add podcast by accident, or if you guys are there, let me know. Okay. Maybe I added them by accident. I'll take them out. It's okay. Now season three is supposed to blow our socks off, and according to the production staff, they were talking about how amazing an episode Identity was in season 2. That's the one with the Kaelon attack, and where Isaac betrays everybody, and he betrays everybody at first. And but they were saying that, especially with regards to special effects and the whole impact of the show, if they had to put Identity into season 3, it would be probably like somewhere in the middle, which means that the standards from the middle to the bottom, I think they said, as far as the impact and quality of the episode. And I mean, that says a lot for what season 3 is going to be like. What if season 3 blows us away, Maria? Where is the Orville going to be then? What do you think? What's going to happen if Orville or if season 3 blows everybody away?
Then Seth's going to be like, I just need to get my own network.
That's a thought. What if he starts his own streaming service?
I that's not far from what could be, actually. I joke about it, but I kind of see something like that down the line.
He can do it. He can do it with the money and capital that he can easily get himself.
Oh,
he can easily start his own streaming service.
Exactly.
Or
MGM
not just himself. Not just himself. What if he goes in with other people he knows in the business, like Jon Favreau? What if him and Jon Favreau get some of the investors together to start their own streaming service?
Mm-hmm.
Stargate was doing it for a while. They were MGM had their little Stargate thing going on the side. It didn't grow into much, but yeah, anything's possible. I do think they'll be part of a. Go ahead, Nate. Sorry.
No. I was just about to say about Stargate. When Stargate first originally aired, I was working 2 jobs at the time, so I didn't really watch it. I had very limited time, and I was watching the X-Files or Star Trek. But I just recently, I think beginning of this year, started watching Stargate on Hulu. I love this freaking show.
Don't you? Isn't it great?
Yeah.
Awesome. And that Joe Malazzi had so much to do with the success of Stargate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Matter of fact, I see his fingerprints all over that show. And another thing, I've also been watching on streaming service Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda, which actually was not it wasn't a bad show at all. It was pretty good. And I've seen so many actors from Dark Matter in Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda.
Oh wow. I didn't notice that, but it's totally possible. Kai brings up a good point. Maybe Apple. Who knows? By the way, has anybody been watching Foundation on Apple?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
What do you think about it, George?
I read the books one time, a long time ago, and I was not impressed with the concepts. When I watched this, the visuals are beautiful. They're produced really well. They follow the story quite faithfully, yeah, almost, and it's exciting to see the one of our greatest sci-fi writers' concepts come to life. It's literally watching like Dune come to life based on Mobius's designs. You know, it's on that level.
Yeah, and it is Asimov. It's the tone. The tone is very high quality sci-fi. The production is. I mean, how do you think it's executed, George?
It's really well executed. Really well executed. Beautiful, actually.
Yeah. You haven't seen that, right, Maria?
Not yet. I had Apple TV, but yeah.
It
I'll have
didn't
to
work.
look into
It
that.
didn't work.
Um,
I had Apple TV, but I got hungry.
Yeah. Did you try turning it on and off?
And on and off and unplugging it, plugging it back in, 10-second power cycle. I actually did have a lot of trouble with it, which is why I got frustrated with it. But
Now, let me ask you guys. I brought this up before. We've seen all the guest hosts, actors. Sorry, all the guest actors that we've had on, and there's a high proportionate of NBC actors, former NBC actors, on high proportion of NBC actors, former NBC actors on the Orville as guest stars. This is Jason Alexander right here. Any thoughts on like? So this is one of the reasons I think, by the way, that we're going to continue to see a lot of these actors. I also think it's indicative of Seth already having at the end of season one, having probably been, or during season one, already seeing what the path might be with maybe doing it on NBC Universal. What do you think, Nate? You think it's indicative of anything?
No, I think this is just the friends he's made and connections through his many years in the business. You know, I think some of these people who's been guest stars on Orville probably comes over to his house, drinks scotch and smokes cigars while he plays the piano.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, but it doesn't mean that he had this deal with NBC. So it doesn't mean he won't use all this to his advantage. He could use this as leverage to Hulu, saying, hey, if you want to keep us, I need more money, I need more control, I need more of this, because if not, I can always go over to Peacock.
Yeah, I mean, where he's at, it's our understanding that where he's at right now, he is just not like he's not moved forward with Hulu for some reason, and like you said, it could be bargaining, it could be he might just be waiting for the best deal. If the best deal might be 2 more years on Hulu, maybe that's the best deal.
Yeah, like my good friend, the existential Mr. Rogers, Robert Meyer Burnett would say, it's show business, not show friends.
George, what do you think? Are these NBC actors like Ted Danson, Jason Alexander, Patrick Warburton, like are the NBC actors, the high proportion of NBC actors, indicative of anything?
Yeah, it's a very clever move to actually increase his quality through association.
I agree.
He's got all these wonderful actors who have an established recognition, and it's a lot easier to watch, a lot easier to fall in love with what people are watching when they see George Alexander. Everybody knows George Costanza, you know, when they see Ted Danson. Everybody knows Cheers. You know, you're just going to fall in love. You know, God rest his soul, you know, the comedian who just passed away.
Norm
Norm. Everybody knows Norm's voice. You know, there's instant love projected into the show when people are watching
Norm is another big NBC veteran.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's instant love that washes over the people who are watching it because of what Seth is actually tapping into. He's tapping into the common, you know, unconsciousness of all these wonderful actors who were on these loved shows over the years. I mean, it's in terms of a business move, it's freaking genius, absolutely genius.
Maria, do you have to go?
Oh yeah, I got to take care of something.
Okay. Well, thank you for
I don't
joining
want
us.
to leave though. I mean,
I know,
love
but can you remind us what's going on next on your channel?
Yeah, first I want to say, George, thanks for drawing the picture of my hair in the morning. But yeah,
Do you want to elaborate?
Yeah, the hair thing going on there. Woo, I love it. I love his blue men. So anyway, for those who jumped in a little bit later after my spiel here, just remember to stop on by. I'm going to have some Mark Patton from Nightmare on Elm Street, good friend of mine, be on the show later. And Mistress Vampiro will be back with that. And I may be bringing back Ron Fitzgerald because he wants to come back. And the other producer I was talking to wants to come back too. They all want to come back. They must have fun on my show.
Maria's channel is, hold on. This is Maria's channel. It's T and Telly. It's a brand new channel. It's growing strong, and make sure you're, like she said, she's going to have the protagonist from Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Mark Patton, on very soon, and she's having some amazing guests for the size of her channel. She is very undersubbed, so please go ahead and sub. I'm putting the.
I'm already subbed.
Thank you so much. Yeah, not doing too bad for what, 6 months? My channel's 6 months.
Is it even 6 months?
Yeah. Well, I started it in January, but I didn't really start doing stuff with it until then. Yeah. Until I had the courage. But here I am. I don't know how I land these awesome guests.
Galinda says bye and Chuck says bye. So thank you, Maria, and thank you so much for joining us, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Talk to you later, George. Nate, finally good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Have fun, but keep it legal.
Yes, I always do. I never get
bye.
caught.
Thank you, Maria.
Bye.
This is Maria's channel, guys. Don't forget everybody to sub to Maria's Tea and Telly. Awesome. So yeah, I just made 234, says Chuck. Thank you, Chuck. Yeah, and so my personal feeling is, Nate, that maybe, all right, I don't know to what degree this is planned out, but I do think that it's convenient for him to include all these people. I do think that there is obviously, because his NBC Universal deal, he has obviously been welcomed there with open arms, I would think, right?
Well, he's already producing something over there.
Yeah, he's in charge of content there, right, or something.
No, he's producing something, or he's already producing something on the Peacock.
Yeah. Do we know what it is, or? I thought he non-specifically had the obligation to do a lot.
That it's something called like LA Beta, something like that, about the Hollow Earth. Is he producing that?
No, I'm looking at IMDb. Peacock presents the at-home variety show featuring Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, okay.
That's 2020.
Oh, the Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he started during COVID. That's right. Yeah.
I mean, he may want to put all his eggs in one basket. So he has to be running around from here to there and tracking the check, if this check and that check. He might want to put them all in one basket. But I would think he might want to diversify. I think this whole thing is just basically he wants to see how much more he can get from Hulu. Because if season 3 kicks off and everybody go crazy over it, then I give him the leverage, and he has to deal with Peacock and Hulu wants eyes. They need content. All these streaming services want content. They don't want quality. They just want quantity. But if they can get something that's quality that will bring more eyes to their streaming service, they're going to fight to keep it.
Well, yeah, that's I agree. To add to it, Seth MacFarlane has a preset audience that does not hate him.
Right.
that's gold. That's gold.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. I also think, by the way, guys, if anybody can help Captain Robert and Steph, they are still waiting for their housing, and there's a link there in case anybody wants to help them. I do think that all these association with all these guest stars and all these actors, especially the NBC actors, I think at the very least, if it's not planned out, at the very least, it's great leverage for dealing with Hulu. So,
my daddy used to say the greatest plans is how to recognize opportunity.
Say that again, Nate.
I said my daddy used to say the greatest plan you can ever have is how to recognize opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, David. Nerdrotic turned me on to y'all's channel. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, David, for hanging out with us. Yeah, Gary is awesome. We love Gary. Yeah, Gary is awesome. I was watching him earlier. So thank you, David. And Louise, hey Louise, good to see you. If Adrian Palicki would promote it in the Supernatural fandom, I think it would get some attention. Interesting. Now, where do you guys see? All right, I have a very clear idea of where the Orville is going to be after season 3. I think that the Orville is going to, like, all of a sudden it's going to be like, even though it's only 3 seasons, all of a sudden it's going to look like it's a bigger universe than Star Trek, because Star Trek is contracting, it's losing its audience. I think that the Orville is going to be in a really, really good place and probably be some of the best sci-fi on television. Where do you guys see the Orville as with regards to their sci-fi value after season 3?
Well, I see that sci-fi value stopped tripling, even quadrupling, because already, okay, I love Star Trek. I was introduced to Star Trek by my brothers when I was 7. The very first Star Trek episode I saw was Where No Man Has Gone Before, which was actually, to me, I saw it in chronological order because that was the first episode filmed after The Cage, not Man Trap. The Man Trap was the first one to be aired. The first one to be filmed after The Cage was Where No Man Has Gone Before. So I saw Star Trek in chronological order, and I loved it. When Star Trek Next Generation came out, which was on my birthday in the 80s, in 87, I turned 16, and I got Star Trek Next Generation for a birthday gift. But I will say this about the Orville. From episode 1, I didn't feel like I had to get to know or get used to the characters. They were like, you knew them from jump. Like walking into a room and saying, hey, Gordon, what's up, Isaac? Hey, Claire. It was like you already knew everybody.
Yeah, they got their footing really, really quick, right?
Yeah, I mean, hell, I still don't even know the name of half the British crew on Star Trek Discovery, and even fans of Star Trek Discovery don't know them.
You know what? You're absolutely right about that. There is just
wait a minute. What is this Star Trek Discovery you speak of?
No, otherwise known as STD.
It's a fan film that Kurtzman made a couple of years ago.
No, it's a non-fan film that Kurtzman's made. Because this guy actually said he was never a fan of Star Trek. He was
Later,
more
Kai.
a fan of Star Wars. He said it out his own mouth, and they put this guy in charge of Star Trek.
Oh yeah, that's a legit move
Later,
to make.
I mean, it seems like now these days the studio heads, they make two kinds of decisions: dumb ones and stupid ones.
This is not the video. Okay, this is wrong video. Sorry. Okay. So basically, sorry, I got distracted. All right. So where I want to get to is that this whole worrying about, and I'm going to play. Damn, I'm going to actually play it one sec. We want to listen to the comments that Scott and Adrian made. First, we're going to listen to the comments that Scott made in May, and then we're going to listen to the comments that that Adrian said like 10 days ago, something like that. It was about 10 days ago, right?
Yeah, it's about 10 days. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to play them. I'm going to mute you guys because I'm going to play through the. I'm going to play first Scott. I'm going to play first Scott in May. All right. Again, this is the video from one of the. I'm taking this from from Brian and Shane's actually video I shared before. They actually played on there, so I'm going to let you guys listen.
Here we go. But it's been tough, for everybody in the industry. It's been tough, but we found a rhythm again. I think we'll see.
Now, when you guys come back again? Now you guys switch. You were on Fox for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Then you guys have switched over to Hulu.
Yeah.
And when are we to expect it? When's everybody out there to expect it?
I was going to ask you. No, what he does, Seth, is we have to finish filming before he really even starts editing.
Yeah. So sometime in 2025, we're going to see the third season of Orville.
Remember, this is in May of 2021.
Christmas. I'd say it's a Christmas release for season 3 because we're going to be done in July, and then I would say keep your fingers crossed for Christmas, and it's going to most likely the last season because we're kind of wrapping it up, and then hopefully maybe we'll do some movies. That's my wish and his wish.
Oh, that's great.
All right.
So he says we might wrap it up because that's what we want to do, and maybe we'll do some movies. What do you guys think about this one? These comments?
Well, actors, they're workers. They're not writers. They're not producers. They're workers. They come and show up at a job. If I go up tomorrow and my boss says, "Okay, we're closing," I was like, I didn't see this coming. Yeah, because I'm not supposed to. That kind of decisions are not made at my level. They're made above my pay grade. So every single episode, unless they got a multi-season contract, every single season is your last, unless they have a multi-contract.
Let me do two things really quick. I want to welcome Denali. Hello, Denali.
Hello. Thank you for having me on your panel. Sorry, I'm a little bit late.
Good to see you. And before we go any further, I'm glad doctor and sci-fi author Adega Outlaw is here because I was going to show this at one point, and I want to let everybody know that Adega's novel Evolution has been put in digital format online until we get the new release of the paperback new paperback release. I'm putting the link in here, guys. Adega is an amazing sci-fi author. You want to check him out now before he gets too famous to talk to us. And, he is being pulled in every direction right now. People want him for all kinds of projects. He's actually working on the Top 5 channel, writing for them right now as well as other stuff. So Adega's book Evolution I'm putting the link here. The digital version of the book is finally online, and guys, check that out. And support our authors. So George and Denali, you guys heard the Scott's comments, and maybe I'm going to play them one more time.
Oh,
But,
before we do, I also want to point out that on my channel I did a review and interview with Adega. So if you're iffy about getting his book, go to my channel, look, find the interview that I did with him. I think you'll be thoroughly impressed, and it will convince you 100% to buy into his books.
Yeah, and oh, here it is. I'm posting that link, actually, that interview with Dega. I'm posting it right here in the chat. I'm going to play that one more time, guys, and then ask you for your opinion. And Brian and Shane, Brian, no worries. Sorry, thank you. Oh, you didn't need a super chat, buddy. Thank you so much. Sorry I left so quickly. No, don't worry. It was thanks for one of you guys jumping on. I appreciate it. Had a day come up at work. Yeah. Thank you so much. You didn't need a super chat. Thank you so much, Brian. It was great to get your feedback, and you told us a little bit about Shane's view, but looking forward to that video that you guys are releasing on this weekend, I think.
Next Saturday, I'll be watching.
Yeah, we're all going to be watching that podcast, guys. We're watching for that video. Podcast guys have some of the best videos on the internet, especially with regarding Orville and Stargate. So and Firefly, as well as others. So this is Adega's interview with George, and I'm going to play that one more time, guys. Scott's comments. Okay, so this is Scott Grimes in May of this year, and I'm going to play that one more time.
But it's been tough, for everybody in the industry. It's been tough, but we found a rhythm again. I think we'll see.
Now, when you guys come back again? Now you guys switch. You were on Fox for a couple of years.
Yep.
Then you guys have switched over to Hulu.
Yep.
And when are we to expect it? When's everybody out there to expect it?
I was going to ask you. No, what he does, Seth, is we have to finish filming before he really even starts editing.
Yep. So sometime in 2025, we're going to see the third season of Orville.
Yeah, I would say by Christmas. I'd say it's a Christmas release for season 3 because we're going to be done in July, and then I would say keep your fingers crossed for Christmas, and it's going to most likely the last season because we're kind of wrapping it up, and then hopefully maybe we'll do some movies. That's my wish and his wish.
Oh, that's great.
So, and this again was from the Randy Fisher podcast. Randy Disher podcast. He's an actor who plays in Monk. What do you guys? So, Denali, what are your thoughts on? These are Scott's comments in May. Have you heard them before?
No, this is the first time hearing them. But what it sounds like is, especially about the movie part, there's no reason, why he wouldn't mention anything about movies. Especially if you're getting canceled or anything like that. That was just I think it's going to be kind of like a clean break. After season 3, they'll do a movie and then they'll jump into another network to Peacock. Since everybody knows the whole $500 million contract with NBC Comcast to do produce content. So the fact that he's mentioning, we'll do a couple movies and then see what's up. There's no reason why to mention any of that if it isn't already in the works.
George, any comments on Scott's comments? What do you? Any insights?
No. What Denali said. Ditto.
Okay. I want to play.
Yes, I think we're all converging to the same conclusion.
I would agree. Yeah. I want to play Adrian's comments too, guys. These were just a few days ago, and these actually, most people didn't hear about Scott's comments. We were graciously informed immediately by Tink from Orville 24/7 back in May, just after he did it. And this is let's listen to Adrian's comments last week.
Quick, so people can hear it. All right, get your Kleenex.
And again, I'm taking this from the video I posted from the Popcast guys,
buddy.
That's why you hear Brian and Shane.
I know you just wrapped on the 3rd season of Orville. Is there anything you can tell us about it at the moment?
No, it's
Oh shit, that guy sounds like Denali. Sorry, I thought it was Denali talking. I was like, what? All right. By the way, guys, this is the I'm going to restart it. This is the Clear Eyes, Full Hearts podcast. Okay, it's kind of an, I don't know, for us anyway in the nerd community, it's kind of an obscure podcast. It's interesting that you released it there, but here we go. I'm playing it again.
All right, get your Kleenex, everybody. I know you just wrapped on the 3rd season of Orville. Is there anything you can tell us about it at the moment?
no, it's honestly it's so secretive considering that it takes 7 years for it to come out to film and then to actually come out. Like it's not going to be out until 2022, and it is our final season.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
So
Well, that's kind of an end of an era.
yeah, I mean, I'll miss everyone. That was definitely a family for sure. We spent so much time together on that ship.
Yeah.
Thank God we loved each other.
All right. So Palicki, thank you so much for. All right.
So let me play that one more time. Let me play that. I want to play that one more time.
All right. Get your Kleenex, everybody.
That's Brian saying, "Get your Kleenex, everybody."
I know you just wrapped on the 3rd season of Orville. Is there anything you can tell us about it at the moment?
No, it's honestly it's so secretive considering that it takes 7 years for it to come out to film and then to actually come out. Like it's not going to be out until 2022, and it is our final season.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
So
Well, that's kind of an end of an era.
yeah, I mean, I'll miss everyone. That was definitely a family for sure. We spent so much time together on that ship.
Yeah.
Thank God we loved each other.
All right. So Palicki, thank you so much for.
So she says very little, but it's quite direct. What do you guys think?
Well, when you stop to think about it from her perspective, it's the whole show is in the can. It's been done for a while for her. I think they wrapped in July. So
they wrapped. They actually. Oh yeah, you're right. In July. Yeah.
Yeah, but they the actual shooting they wrapped in July. So
Yeah.
since July, it's been months. So for her, it is in her rearview mirror. But I'm quite sure from just the way she talked about being there, if Seth picked up the phone and said, "Hey, we're picked up for season 4," she'll be right back.
What do you guys think, George and Denali?
I think I think. All right, this is just my impression. Don't take it too seriously. But I think the reason why she said that is because she really doesn't know what's going on, and I think they're going to fire her because she's a very difficult actress to work with. Or
George, this is just so you guys understand, because if anybody's watching this, George is kidding. George is being sarcastic. Go ahead, George.
Or we can just sit
George,
back
you would be
and-
surprised who watches this. I'm just saying.
We can sit back and watch the fireworks tomorrow. What the hell's going on?
Well, Scott Grimes would testify how difficult she can be.
Adrian has given us a wonderful shout out. I just want to say so. Thank you, Adrian. George is kidding. He's so go ahead, George.
Watch the Phantom Menace tomorrow. What the hell's going on? Another Gina Carano situation. What the hell?
So besides Adrian being difficult,
she's not difficult. She's a wonderful actress.
She is.
She plays her role great. but the thing is, she is still an actress, and she only knows, what her station allows her to know, or what her position is in the scheme of things. She doesn't understand operational moves like a producer would, right? And if she was privy to something, I think as a professional, she would not say anything at all. It's standard non-disclosure agreement. You cannot speak of stuff that may put your position in jeopardy.
And again, she's not lying about anything, because as of right now, there's not a season 4 that's been greenlighted.
Yeah,
so,
it's absolutely true.
Yeah, she's no Kevin Smith. She's not a liar.
Yeah.
So even
Exactly.
because I gotta say, like, I'm sure that Adrian and Scott Grimes are probably privy, at least have a hint of what Seth might have planned in the long run. But yeah, right, as officially right now, there is no season 4. That doesn't mean, of course, that season 4 can't happen. But Denali, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's all right. No, I'm kind of in agreement. The difference between Scott seemed like he has a hint of something, and Adrian, she was totally professional. She didn't, as far as that interview goes, she was saying there's only season 3 and it's been done for a while. The only thing that caught my attention was the 7-year remark, which is, I'm like saying, you don't develop a show for 7 years without having stories along. Just like, for example, the Clone Wars, where when it was canceled, we found out later that they were working on ahead of 2 seasons. So by this estimate, they might have two or 3 seasons worth of materials in the back burner that we are not aware of. So that's something to be mindful of if there's a possibility of a season 4, because right now we're all speculating and all that stuff, and there's something to be mindful of.
I personally think there is I personally think we are seeing excuse me, let me finish. Okay. I personally think that for example, these 2 actors, by the way, they all know each other very well. Scott knows Seth for a long time. Scott has been married to Adrian. They're not together anymore, but this is a very tight-knit group of friends and professionals who work together. They do, I think they do know Seth's greater plan. There is definitely a greater vision. Nate is absolutely right when he says that Seth's legacy will be more tied to this great universe that he is building. I do also have to share something that we don't talk about a lot. I have not touched upon this because in the past, because of I was kind of saving it for a good time, and we're going to start to touch upon this now while we wait for season 3. But David Goodman and Dave Cabeza and the rest of a few other creators are involved in the Orville comic books, and these comic books are between season 1 and 2, and between season 2 and 3. So we have Orville 1.5 and 2.5. This is like when we're talking about an expanded universe, planting the seeds for an expanded universe. This is what Seth is doing. Any comments on the comics, guys? I'm going to show a little bit of them.
I haven't read any of the comics yet, so I don't really know what's in them. But you're saying that the comics are created by creatives who worked on the show. So to me, that gives it a lot more credence. These are the missing episodes. Just like in Star Trek, the animated series was a continuation of the live action series. I think this comic book is filling in the gaps between season 2 and season 3.
Yeah, you guys will see here. I don't know if you see it, but it says David Goodman. The same people writing the same people in charge of putting out the show are putting out the comic books, and I'm not sure. I've heard JP talk about a lot about this. I'm not sure if it's canon, but it's pretty canon, to be honest. It seems like it's pretty canon.
I think Seth would know a little bit more, seeing Star Wars and seeing how fans adhere to canon, that anything that his team produces and pulls out, like these comics, he would know. People like us would be talking about whether it's really canon or not. So in my mind, being savvy like that, and if he's going to build expanding universe like you stated, then those comics has to be canon, because that's a buy-in. Like for those people who don't watch the show and read comic books, as I hear the Orville comic book, maybe you'll be interested in the show through that way. So you don't want to have customer buy a comic book and say, "Oh no, those weren't canon. Those were just just a flavor for the show." You want to become invested into the IP in the totality of that.
And I wanted your opinion on that, Denali, because you and George are both involved, and we'll see what the super expert thinks about the George. What do you think about the fact that Seth has dedicated so much time to the Orville comics?
Well, I just want to point out that Denali and I involved is strictly platonic. Just want to point that out.
Yes, George is a happily married husband.
Yeah. Okay. What I'm going to say is ditto.
Husband, not to Denali.
Yeah, it's all it's wonderful. The comic book is just a leapfrog. It's just the first step in the world of many more ancillary products. I'm absolutely thrilled about it. I have the issues. What more I can say? Everyone should buy into this. If you haven't, you love the Orville, get the comics.
Because it's a way to gauge the audience by another mean. How invested are you? How many people have interest in the Orville? Because they look at the metrics. People searching the Orville, people buying the Orville, people talking about the Orville. All of that aggregates into a number that they say, we have so many viewers interested in this property that's worthwhile to our investors, that this will actually be a worthwhile project. And go ahead.
No, if I could just read JP's comment. Thank you, JP. That's exactly the word I was looking for. And JP uses that in his streams. Yeah, the comics are considered soft canon, which means that it's canon as long as they don't make an episode that contradicts it. Exactly. Thank you, JP, for filling in that. Exactly. JP.
What's up, JP?
JP is really covered the comics, guys, and you're gonna want to go. I'm gonna put up JP's channel. I'm sure most of you guys know about it, but JP, if you search on his channel, he has done even read throughs. I used to joke around. JP sent him super chat saying he was our Orville dad because he used to read us bedtime stories. I was when I was in Europe, I'd be much later and it'd be like a bedtime story. JP reading the comics. So I'm putting in Egotastic channel here, guys. Obviously, I think you guys are probably subscribed to it.
But you said it wrong.
That's right. I said it wrong.
Egotastic Fun Time.
No, I said it wrong because it's not Egotastic Fun Time. That is his newer channel now. And his big channel now is Talking the Orville New Horizons. That's right. So Talking the Orville New Horizons. Exactly. Read Along Thursday. Are you still doing the Read Along Thursday? No, you're not. Are you, JP?
Read Along is Thursday. Sounds like he is. Now, I would have preferred the other title that they were proposing, The Orville, The Journey Continues. I think I prefer that title over New Horizons.
Oh, okay. So JP, yeah, so there's a new comic coming out now.
Mm-hmm.
So JP will be doing the I guess he will be doing the read along for whenever the new one comes out. And that's his channel right there. That's awesome.
I have a little fan theory about the title New Horizons.
Yeah.
I think when season 3 ends, it's going to end in a way that if they don't come back, it ends it. But if they do come back, it will be different. I think they may actually enter a different dimension.
Oh wow. Let me guys, let me welcome Shane. Shane, you made it. Thanks, man. I did no obligation to jump in. I know you had trouble.
No, I promised. And it's funny because Brian is always the one doing these things. And I told him, I said, look, man, you've been doing such a great job, going on all these channels and talking to people. I'll take the next couple. And so when you said, would you like to come on? I'm like, okay, I got this. And then I got on the freeway and I spent 3.5 hours, no joke, to go about 90 miles.
Is this like Los Angeles?
It is Los Angeles. Yeah.
Oh God.
I spent more time off the freeway driving side streets than I actually did on the freeway today. So, but I made it finally.
Well, listen, I thank you. Just, even just popping in. Thank you for showing. We would love to get your opinion, Shane. We were talking a lot. We were talking about, we've basically been talking about how I think George thinks, Denali and Nate, we kind of all think that there's this big master plan. And we think that all this is these are just growing pains that we're going through with the Orville. Do you have any? I know you guys are putting out a video on Saturday that Brian said, but what are your thoughts on where do you think we're at with the evolution, and are we just seeing? Is this fear of cancellation just a little stepping stone to something greater?
Yeah, this is really great. And I got to tell you, I got to give it to my brother for jumping in, and it's great doing a show with him. And a couple of things I want to clarify though. We did. When we went to the set, it was for the season 3 set.
Oh, it was. Okay.
So we were able to see kind of what's coming, and we're kind of aware. So when he was saying that everything's big, it's really big. It's even bigger than it was for season 2. So moving stuff like we talked about, like he mentioned, it would be quite a challenge, but it can be done. My opinion is very interesting. So when this news came out, you want me to start back at the beginning a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So when the news came out with Scott Grimes, and he was on the Monk podcast back in May, and he said, okay, this could be the end. This could be the last season, but we're hoping there might be some movies to come. And I think we all thought back when that happened, okay, well, he's not really sure.
And none of us talked about it. Like we just said, nobody talked about it.
Yeah, no, it was more of a, okay, I hate to say it, but it's almost like Gordon Malloy is kind of not taken seriously. So I think a little bit Scott Grimes maybe not taken seriously as well, which is not fair to him, but it kind of happens. But when Adrian came out on October 12th on that Friday Night Lights podcast, which, by the way, apparently no Orville fans watched until later, because we didn't find out till 2 days later she even said it.
Yeah.
When she came out and said, this is it, season 3 is done. And she said it in such a way that really bargained no compromise on it. And so we were like, whoa, that's for real. Like the way she said it was, she truly believes as an individual that the Orville is not coming back for season 4. And so, we reached out some of our contacts, but because the strike was going on at the time, it was impossible to get any information back. And so we didn't push it too hard. We kind of went out with the news like everybody else did and did the reaction. And then Tom came out with a tweet, which she went over earlier, and kind of calmed things down and said, season 4 is TBD. It's all going to depend on fan appetite and season 3 response, which I thought those words were very interesting, because that's very similar to what happened when we were getting a renewal of season 3. So during season 2, when we got about 3/4 through the season and there was no renewal yet, we started to panic, if you remember.
Yeah.
And so we started going out with, hey, what's going on? What's happening? And we were kind of getting the same language back. And we know at that time that, speaking to people on the inside, they were all very unsure and not certain as to what was going to happen either at that time. and we ended up getting a season 3. None of the actors were coming out saying season 2's over. We're not getting a season 3. So that's where I think the scare and the fear and the disconnect is going on. And I think Tom coming out to kind of assuage fears. And if we go back and take a look at everything and we kind of put it under a microscope, we can see that the next move forward is that anything's possible at this point. We can still get a season 4. Just because they said it ain't going to happen doesn't mean that. I think somebody said it earlier. I can't remember who was on the show that said it, but somebody said contractually, you can't really talk about there being a season 4, especially if you're going to move the show or something's going to happen. You kind of got to let it float and then eventually bring it back or announce it later.
Contractually is George's favorite word. It was George.
Okay. It was George.
Yeah. If no one was going to take credit for that, I will.
Well, it's pretty correct. What we've noticed from either Tom or from Seth is that they are very tight-lipped about specifics until the time comes that something needs to be said, which is why I was really surprised that Adrian put that information out, because, they finished filming in August, right?
Yeah.
So they're gone.
Or July, in July, right? Something like that.
Well, I think they were still going in August.
Okay.
They wrapped it up. And so she's gone. She's not down there. If they need to do some stuff, everything's post-production right now. So she's doing her own thing, and she has for the last couple of months. So she may not be in with the language of what's happening at the time. So when she left the set, whatever they talked about, maybe at the time there was maybe some sort of feeling that season 3, hey, this is probably going to be it, guys. Maybe that's what they were talking about. But now, since that's gone forward, maybe the feeling has changed a little bit more. So maybe that's why we have a little bit more hope.
Let's just take a look at that tweet really quick. And JP is absolutely correct. He says, Tom, let's read Tom's actual words. Hey folks, been editing today, but despite some misinformation, and that's what JP says about the kind of like the panic, misinformation to the contrary, the Orville season 4 is still to be determined. It will depend on audience appetite and the season 3 response. So anything can happen. And of course, this is what Tom is telling all of us, like in private as well, basically.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of, he's a producer. And let me just tell you something about the guys behind the scenes. And you probably know a little bit about this. We've spent a little bit of time with them. We've talked to them. They care more about the show than anybody. They care more about what they're doing. They love what they're doing. The reason the Orville is good is not because, and Seth is a genius and he came up with a great idea, but he has an amazing team and talent of people surrounding him that really make this show good. And that goes from Tom, that goes from Brooke, that's Brandon, that's the entire crew. And I have an unbelievable amount of respect for them. And I hate the fact that they would be in this kind of, lost space where they don't know exactly what's going to happen going forward.
Yeah, you would think that there's probably less limbo going on behind the scenes. Like, we were talking, and JP was saying before that the bridge was cemented down. He said the bridge is cemented down into the ground. He also says, absolutely, season 4 is up to us now. And I wanted to ask you, Shane, we were talking before about all these former NBC actors. I don't know if you were listening to that part, showing up on the Orville. They even watched Seinfeld on the bridge. I mean, what is that? All these former NBC actors, what does that say? I personally think that it's indicative of a possibility of Seth in the future having that NBC door open. What do you think about that?
I mean, anything's possible. I mean, Seth is, obviously he's making this big move to NBC. They're paying him a lot of money. There's no bones to be, he obviously doesn't have great feelings for Fox. They're on the Fox lot, which is not owned by Disney, by the way. And I know that he doesn't feel great about everything going on with Fox News and politically what's happening and everything going on. And so it wouldn't surprise me if he's looking more toward, well, what can I do with NBC? NBC has really high expectations. He's very talented. And the reason why he's getting this deal is because he's shown that he can do multiple things. It isn't just because the Family Guy has been great, or American Dad, or his movies, or or the Orville even. It's because you just want to be lined up with a guy like that who can do almost anything.
Yeah, he's a turnkey solution.
Exactly. So NBC's like, hey, listen, we just want to work with him no matter what he's going to do. So now he's like, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to bring the Orville over? Am I going to keep doing what I'm doing? I think Seth wants to do, I don't think he's done wanting to create more things and to do more things. Somebody was talking about his legacy earlier. It's hard for his legacy not to be Family Guy in a lot of ways. But like I tell a lot of people, the Orville fandom is more passionate. He doesn't realize, I don't even know if Seth realizes exactly what his fandom for the Orville and how they feel about his stuff. The people who love the Orville love his stuff, care about his stuff, probably a lot more than Family Guy fans do. On a deeper level, they connect because not only do we have the loss of Star Trek in the last few years with that kind of old feel that we're used to, but now he's taking taking us on a journey that makes sense, that we connect with, and so
it is interesting. It is interesting, Shane, though, that there have been a few like comedy, Family Guy fans who are discovering sci-fi now through Seth.
It's true. Yeah, no, that's cool. It's nice to have that crossover. And I think originally when they said this is going to be I think Brian mentioned it earlier. It's true. It was Family Guy in space is kind of what people thought it was going to be. And I remember when Brian brought it to me, this is so funny. When we decided to cover the Orville, nobody was covering it yet. And so we said, you know what? Let's watch it and see what happens. So we watched the first episode, and boom, the next morning we said, we're going to do this. It's that good. So we started covering it, and we never looked back from there. But it's grown if you've noticed, it changed a lot from season 1. It got better. It had more depth. It tackled more serious issues. And then season 2, it was like, it just blew everything out of the water. So
let me just read. I want to ask you a question, Shane, but let me just read what JP is saying in the chat. Seth tweeted that he hopes it isn't the last time they go to space together, and Kit Stolen also said, "Fingers crossed on season 4 when he got wrapped in August." And from what I can tell, he knew he was about to leave Fox when he knew he was about to leave Fox when he decided to move it to Hulu. That makes sense.
Well, yeah, there's a lot to that. And JP, let me tell you something about JP. JP has completely dedicated his life to the Orville, and I got a lot of respect for him. I love him. He's my brother.
Yes.
And let me tell you, if you're not a JP, if you're not subscribed to JP, you're going to miss something because he covers absolutely everything. So he definitely knows what he's talking about. But
he is the Orville evangelist, guys.
He is
literally
the Orville evangelist. Now, what I can tell you is that, from what we know about it, the move to Hulu was less about not wanting to be on Fox because he didn't like Fox, and more about the fact that the show was being cut. They were having minutes cut by being on regular television.
Wasn't that golf sequence awesome?
Say it again?
Cut the golf sequence on the golf course.
It was awesome, actually. But the reason why they made that move was because they were going to get more time. And that streaming format, it was really a fight over advertising. And this did not get out there. This is something we were talking about behind the scenes with Tom at the time it was happening. Essentially, advertising was what was keeping season 3 from happening. The move to Hulu was to allow them to do the show at the length of time they wanted to, because using the streaming format, they weren't informed to the typical Fox television standards for an hour-long show. That's why the move was done to Hulu. When Disney purchased Fox, then it just made absolutely more sense. That's where they wanted it to go. So that's why it ended up happening that way.
Yeah. Nate and George were discussing before, and Denali came in a little bit later, but we were discussing the fact that what if do you think it's possible that down the road Seth's legacy will have a lot more to do with this Orville universe than with Family Guy and American Dad and stuff like that?
I mean, that's the hope, right? I mean, as fans, because this is the thing that he's created that we love the most. We as fans fantasize. That's what we would like to have happen. And honestly, if that's what Seth wants to do, then that would be smart, because we love what he does. And if he wants that fan adoration, now it depends. Does Seth want this to continue, or does he want to take things in a new direction and try new things? It's not what we want to hear as fans, but that might be the reality of the situation as well. Hulu did indicate that. I heard you guys talking about before. Hulu didn't say they wanted a season 4. We got to be really clear about that, because
they haven't said it. They said
did
they were
not
open
say
to
that.
it. Didn't they say they were open to it?
Yes, they said they were open to talking about it, and that there have been no discussions to the contrary. But the article that we were reading with that kind of took a little bit of editorializing and basically made it sound like they wanted a season 4. After going back and taking a deeper look at it, what they committed to is saying that, we're open to season 4, and there have been no discussions to the contrary of that. So take that for what it means. What does it mean? They're not saying they don't want season 4, but like somebody talked about earlier, there's also negotiations for how much people are going to pay for it. So it could be this game that they're playing back and forth. Adrian could be a plant, I hate to say it, for Seth by saying this is the final season and putting the pressure on Hulu. You never know, and we may not know.
It may not be a pressure thing. It might just be a way of gauging the fans' reaction. She go out there and says, "This is it. It's over. That's it," and we all cry to the heavens like Luke Skywalker. No, and then they get the gauge. You see on social media. I don't know how many times I've hashtag renew the Orville, we need the Orville. And I see many others. I even know people who was fans of Star Trek Discovery, who didn't watch the Orville, who have now started watching the Orville and love the Orville.
Right. No, you're 100% right.
How many people, guys, this is a question to everybody. How many Trekkies are still holding out? I know a lot of Trekkies who are still holding out and not watched the Orville. What do you guys feel about that? Denali?
They're missing out if they have.
I think that number's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Except for the new Trek fans, the people who were not fans of Star Trek but like the new Star Trek. They're not going to like the Orville because to them, that's not Star Trek. They like Kurtzman and JJ Trek. And that's a small number.
Denali, you were saying?
I was saying that I think the first marketing from Fox and the word of mouth from Fox, that would be Family Guy in space, kind of pushed away and robbed the old fans of Star Trek the wrong way. But any Star Trek fan would realize that Seth was in Enterprise. That's one of the engineering crew there, and he loves Star Trek. And one of the things that not a lot of people are talking about, or I haven't heard, is that the course comedy from the first season has been slowly being weaned off as the first season progressed, and in the second it's more subtle. In the second season, so it's becoming more Star Trek as the season progressed. So I have great expectation that the third season is fully. There's going to be comedic moment because he's Seth, but those are not going to be like Family Guy. It's going to be more true to the universe of the Orville, and I think that's going to bring around more Star Trek fans around because they're saying, "Oh, this is not Family Guy. This is Orville's its own thing." That plays homage to Star Trek, the old series of Star Trek, the New Avengers, the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Enterprise. I feel a lot of it. It's a mixture of Enterprise, as you saw, with the original Star Trek. That's for me. Like he's blending those two synergy together to get the Orville because it has a lot of those different production values in there. And I feel that the more there's word of mouth saying, look, yes, the beginning couple episodes are kind of Family Guy-ish, but it's not really. But if you stick with it, it starts becoming its own thing. And it feels more authentic Star Trek than the current Star Trek that's we're facing off on.
George, do you want to add anything to that?
Ditto.
Good answer.
We're most of us here. We're all in agreement. This is negotiations. We're because of the internet, because everything is so instant. We're all reacting. We're not, and we just have to wait it out. Everyone, I believe, everything that we talked about so far, everything that we see on the internet, I think we all have the confidence collectively that Seth is going to carry this baby to a home run.
You were going to say something, Nate?
We also have to remember that the original Star Trek didn't get a third season until a massive letter writing campaign that got Star Trek its third season. Now we're at the age of the social media, so we got our third season. We can get our fourth. We actually have the power. We got tweet it, Facebook it, WhatsApp it, whatever we have to do. Let them know we want it. They will give it to us.
You're absolutely right. Seth is very aware of the history. Absolutely. And Shane, while we have you, I wanted to get your feedback on this. By the way, JP,
before we continue, I just there's one thing I'd like to point out that a lot of us haven't appreciated publicly. We all talk about Gene Roddenberry, and how great he was with Star Trek, but you got to give it up to Lucille Ball for having the ball to make Star Trek happen.
Absolutely.
If it wasn't for that lady, that strong business mindset that she saw what Gene Roddenberry had created, we wouldn't be here geeking out like we are today.
We love Lucy.
It's very true.
Yep.
Let me just, I want to ask Shane a question. Let me just, the production from Enterprise, Brandon Braga, leading that group is on the Orville right now. Absolutely. And that fan fiction, that fan film of Seth as a kid. Absolutely. Shane, I wanted to ask you, because I don't know if you've seen this interview, this documentary interview that Seth did with George when he went to Lucasfilm. Have you seen this?
I've seen parts of it. Yeah.
We were talking before about how Favreau was involved in season 1. And my point here is that, to try to get in Seth's head a little bit, I think that he has a very large vision for this universe once he saw that he wasn't going to get Star Trek. And once he saw that, I think that George is one of the people he's emulating in many ways with respect to universe creation, this expanded universe idea. I also think that's why Favreau may have been involved in season 1. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be great to have an Orville, universe to explore and to play in? I mean, as fans, that's what we want, right? The thing about Seth is that he is a huge nerd, just like the rest of us. He grew up loving Star Trek, loving Star Wars, and this interview that he got to do here with George, look at how young Seth is. This is like a dream come true for him.
This was in 2012, right before George was engaged. Well, right when George was starting to talk about selling Star Wars.
Yeah, and look at him. He looks like a kid in a candy store. If you look at Seth's face, he's talking to a guy that he wants to be like, right?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't put it past me that this is something that Seth wants to do. Absolutely. Now the question is, like I said before, okay, I'll give you guys a point. So when the Orville experience happened a couple of years ago, ourselves, Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, we're all going to have a meeting with Seth at this experience. Seth was completely bombarded on all sides that day, completely, to the point of that he ended up canceling like 5 things, including our meetup. And the only thing that I think is I hope he doesn't get to the point where he's made enough of the Orville, because the incredible amount of work that goes into it. He's writing everything. He's helping direct these shows. He's the executive producer, and he puts everything into it when he does it. My hope is that he doesn't get Star Trek satiated by making this and then want to move on to something else. So the fan in me hopes and dreams that there's a bigger universe at play here, that he has this plan to do something bigger. But this is all in Seth's corner. He's the one who's going to have to determine. And what was Nate saying earlier? This is the key, guys. Let me give you guys the key. I'm going to preface the video that we're going to put out on Saturday. You guys are definitely going to want to watch it.
Definitely want to watch that.
Yeah.
And JP was talking about it earlier, so I noticed he was commenting about it too. The next step in this evolution is exactly what Tom said. We got a season 3. We got our Star Trek season 3 back during season 2 when we did the pickle delivery, right? So Brian and I started this whole pickle delivery thing, made a giant video out of it, if you guys remember, right? And then
That
they
seemed
started,
like so long ago.
right, right. But that's part of how we ended up getting season 3 was the fan response. Everybody started sending pickles in. Everybody started clamoring, and part of getting it was the deal going over to Hulu, the agreement that they needed more time, and the commercials were killing them, and plus the fan support was overwhelming. We were told behind the scenes that fan support played a significant role in us getting season 3. So the fact that Tom's coming out and saying this about season 4 is a good indication that we can do this again. Now the question is we need to mobilize the fandom, right? So we need people to be active, and we still have what 5 months, I think 5 months to go before we actually get to season 3. So we need to keep people motivated. We've got a whole lot of things coming up, things planned to do. JP's planning to do a whole bunch of stuff. So we need to stay together as a community, support it. We need to hashtag renew the Orville all the time when we're doing Twitter and other social media stuff. And we need to stay on top of this. And as season 3 gets here, we got a whole plan in place, guys. So make sure you stay tuned. We got a lot to show you.
Awesome. We're looking forward to that video.
Well, to add to that, the best way to ensure that there's a season 4 is just to write a letter, a physical letter, and mail it in, because corporations like Hulu and NBC, Comcast, they're still adhering to the old structure, even though we're digitalized and we have all this new technology. At the end of the day, the most powerful thing as a fan that you could do to convince a company to renew a property is to send physical letters.
Well, it's good to that, Denali, because after you see the video, I think that'll be little more clear. There's going to be about 5 or 6 steps that we go through that what fans can do to actually moving forward to help get the show a season 4.
That's
and so one of those things, you're absolutely right, 100%. Letter writing is going to be critical. I don't want to give away too much, but behind the scenes, when we were sending pickles, it got to the point where it was cute. And then it got to the point where it kind of started irritating people a little bit. So we want to be careful that the people making the show, we want to send a message to them, but we don't want to make it hard for them to do their job. So we got to be careful about, I know we're all talking about, hey, let's send pickles again, but there might be a better way. And I think we outline those things in the story. And Denali, you mentioned one of those things that's critical.
Mm-hmm. So I'm a fan of old school letter writing. We need more of that.
Agreed.
Yeah, but do these companies have people who actually read those letters anymore? Everybody, they hire social media monitors now. It just reads the tweets or Facebook.
Well, it'll even have better than Nate. That's going to work even better because they're going to get overwhelmed with letters they don't normally get, and they're going to go, "Oh my gosh, what is this?" And it's going to create more.
That's a good point.
And you have to remember that they still equate that still has a number, and one letter for them is 1,000 viewers. So every 1,000 letters is 100,000 viewers. So and that's how Battlestar Galactica back in the 70s was able to be renewed from cancellation because of that letter campaign. And same thing with Star Trek, when for the 3rd season they send in letters. So since we're in the same situation historically, it's appropriate for us to send letters to save the Orville for season 4. The journey continues. There you go. Season 4, the journey continues.
Absolutely. I was going to ask you something. Hold on a second. A lot of people have said, well, he's maybe emulating Gene more than he's emulating Lucas, but I think there's several things you can learn from each person, each creator.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think about the whole? What do you think about the whole Favreau thing being involved, Shane, in season 1?
I mean, I know he's friends with John. John's amazing. He's in everything. You've noticed that he does a little bit of everything. What's he doing? He's doing Marvel. He did. It just feels like he's everywhere doing his own projects, and now he's involved with the Orville and stuff. So, John is one of my favorite people in Hollywood, and the fact him being involved does nothing but make everything better for us. So, could it be world building? Possibly. I just know he adds a lot to everything he does, and he's adding to the Orville, obviously.
I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, sorry, Nate. I was going to say, the thing that John brings to the table is connection. You can't move Hollywood without connection, knowing people, knowing actor, knowing talent, knowing producer. That is what John's role is in the Orville. He is able to bring in the talent, the producers, the people that needs to run to make a production. He did it with Iron Man. He did it with The Mandalorian. Every production he knows, he's connected because John is a director, a producer, and an actor. So he knows those three stages. He knows the logistics of a production, and he knows who the people he needs to contact to make things happen. And that's the essential part of Jon Favreau in there. And the best way that Seth is emulating George is George wanted Flash Gordon, and the rights holders of Flash Gordon denied him the film. So he instead made Star Wars, which is based on the Flash Gordon serials. Here, Seth wanted Star Trek. He couldn't get Star Trek, so he's now making the Orville, which is based on Star Trek. So you have to look at it, all of them in a contextual history way. But returning back to John is an important figure. He is the people person that connects you to opens the door. He's the one who knows the agent's number. He knows the producer who knows the people. So if you're playing politics and you want something done, it's best to have Jon Favreau in your corner.
Well, I would say that to that degree, you're right, especially because Seth is so busy. I would say Seth has a lot of the same qualities, a lot of the same connections. The difference is that Seth is working his butt off 24/7 on the show. So having John tied to it would allow him to do the, to talk to people more. He's not so much hands-on the scripts and doing things behind the camera. And maybe he's more in that chemistry, the relationship building for the show. That's very possible.
Shane, were you guys Chuck's question will be addressed in that coming video? You think about where exactly to? He says where would one exactly address a letter to?
Yes, in fact, watch Saturday and you will know exactly where to send it. And it's actually special hint. It's going to be multiple letters. So
awesome.
Yeah,
you guys are always one step ahead of the game, Shane.
You know what's great about us is that we have two people. So it makes it easier to do more stuff. That's the thing about JP. He's always, when we talk to him, he's like, I wish I could duplicate myself, which he does frequently on his videos, by the way.
Yeah.
So we have that ability. Brian does something and I do another thing. And, we do a lot of research and, works out.
You guys remember Favreau and Rudy?
Oh yeah. I just saw that movie the other day. He's still so good.
I think Favreau connection with Seth is gold because I think Favreau's connections and the fact that he's a writer, he's a fan, so is Seth. I think they can build a team that maybe Seth don't have to do everything. That if he does expand the Orville universe and make spinoffs and movies and stuff, there will be people who can run everything with just run it through Seth. Seth to say, okay, that's a good idea. Yes, that's a good idea. And he doesn't have to do everything himself.
Guys, what do we have? We have another NBC actor, another former NBC actor here, Norm, who is not with us anymore. Very sad, and we think about him a lot. Does anybody think that like how might they go into resolving this? I mean, we've talked about, a lot of people have talked about it, but Shane, do you have any thoughts on this?
Oh, the whole Yaphet thing. Yeah. The thing is that we get him for season 3, so that's cool. We're going to have that character. If we do go into season 4, maybe Yaphet has offspring with Claire. Kind of that's what we were thinking. They ended up having, relations. So maybe at some point they bring that forward and we end up getting a replacement for Norm that's his offspring, Yaphet's offspring. And maybe they bring in somebody with a similar voice, like who's Brian always saying has a similar voice? who's the guy from the Man Show? I just totally drew a blank.
Oh, yeah, I know you're
Adam
Carolla. Yeah, so you could see maybe Adam Carolla coming in doing the voice of Yaphet Jr. maybe or something like that. I could see that happening, but you can't get rid of the character. I think he's important to the show.
Well, remember, if he divides, he might no longer be exactly Yaphet. He'll be like an evolution of Yaphet, I think. Because remember with Claire's asking him, "Who's that? Your mom?" He's like, "No, well, that's me and my brother. It used to be my mom, but now it's me and my brother."
That's one way. Yeah.
Any other thoughts, guys, on this issue? Anybody?
Well, I think you answer your question, because if he have them divide, then it'll be two different characters now. Because you just answered your question. There's an in-universe way to replace or to show why Norm doesn't sound like Norm anymore. Yaphet will be Adam Carolla and be like, "Hey, now I'm a smoke chaining comedian."
Or, with technology now, today, they can take samples of Norm Macdonald's voice and literally make him say things he's never said.
That's true.
Well,
That's weird, but yeah.
It depends on the contract, because because like Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, for example, they had to give their rights to Lucasfilm and then to Disney for them to use their models and do the younger selves of them.
But Norm was sick for a while, and I'm quite sure Seth knew about it. They may have put this plan in place.
Right.
I would think yes is the answer to that.
Okay.
Go ahead, but don't go ahead, Denali. I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish your.
No. I'm just saying it. When you're talking about using sample voices or sample references from a actor, their estate always are worried. There's always that legality that's in place. So hopefully it's in the contract, like you're saying, Nate, because if Seth was aware of his medical condition at that time of having cancer, perhaps that's part of the insurance and part of the contract for season 3, saying, "Hey, if you happen to die, can we use your voice through a sampler?" And he's like, "Yeah, do it. What am I going to do? Sue you from death?"
And his family will be paid the royalties.
Exactly.
So it'd be like he's providing for his family from the grave.
Absolutely. See, Grim Reaper, always at work, even when he's dead.
And Norma probably says, "See, I found a way to cheat the Green Reaper out of his tax money."
Exactly.
Just want to say hi to Axonar. Hello, hello, Alec. Hello, Axonar, who's in the chat. When you dropped in, Shane, you saw we were looking at the comics, and with regard to that whole idea of the whole universe building, how significant is it, do you think, the fact that they're dedicating so much to the comics?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it'll be important to universe building. You can only do so much with putting out TV shows, and I think novels and comics and that kind of thing help build a universe, and whether it's Star Trek or Star Wars or even the Orville. I know that Dark Horse is completely dedicated to the comic process. I know they have complete buy-off from Seth, and that's something they're going to be doing going forward for sure. Even if the show, for whatever reason, didn't move on, I believe the comics would continue.
Okay. Axonar says you stiffed them in Vegas. Okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So yeah, it's Alec. Yeah. Hey, we still have your posters, by the way, Alec.
Listen, I want to thank you guys all for dropping in. Any final thoughts on, I want each of you to give a final thought. Denali, starting with you, and final thoughts on what do you expect from season 3?
It's going to be big. I feel it's going to be more Star Trek than Orville, and I hope it blows everybody who watches it away and craves for more. By the end of the season, we want to say, "That's it. Give us more." Season 4, let's go.
Awesome, Georgie boy. By the way, can you make us action figures of the Popcast guys?
No,
He prints out
I
out
can't.
action figures, right, Shane?
You need extra material.
Yeah, exactly. I got so much volume in my, where I live. My
That's
ego.
okay. I got you. Someday.
Final thoughts, George, on the Orville season 3 and where are we gonna be at after season 3?
Yeah, we're gonna be screaming for season 4. It's not gonna end. The Orville's in good hands, just like Star Trek was in good hands with Gene Roddenberry. I'm really excited. Here are some people like Nerdrotic had a chance to look at a little bit of the new season, and coming from him instead of a producer like Tom, it's legit. Tom would say, "Oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread." Of course, he wouldn't lie to us because we'd be holding his feet to the fire, and I'd be producing 3D printed figurines of Tom that we can all put pins in.
I will tell you, we have seen scenes of the first episode of season 1, and you guys are going to like it. It's going to be. We're all going to like it.
You see, it's talk like that, right? The guy elevates himself above us. He thinks he's so special. Kick this guy off the channel. Gosh darn it, man.
Well, actually, that is awesome, Shane. That is amazing. What I'm not asking you for details, but what do you think?
Well, here's what I'll tell you. Tom said I can't tell you, so there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
See, George, because you're not going to make action figures of us, I'm not going to tell you. There you go.
Shane, what are your thoughts on where is the Orville? I personally think that the Orville season 3 is going to leave the Orville in a better position than the already established Star Trek universe. What do you think about where we're going to be after season 3?
I think season 3 is going to be amazing. I think it will be carefully tied up, kind of like season 2 was, where we had the time travel and the homage to Star Wars in the final episode. I think they're going to tie it up just in case they can't continue on, but I think it's going to be something amazing. And I think Gordon tipped the hat to a lot of what we might get. If we do not get a season 4, and I really hope we do, and I think we can, then I do think we will probably see some Orville. We're not done with the Orville. We'll at least see some Orville movies, and perhaps on a new network, we might get more Orville continuing on. Hopefully, Peacock.
Absolutely. And Nate, what do you think? Final thoughts?
I think we'll get an announcement for season 4 when we get to episode 5 of season 3. They will announce we have a season 4. We'll also probably get an animated series of the Orville on either Peacock or maybe even Netflix.
That could be fun.
Captain Trek, any final thoughts? You were able to come back?
Yeah, I do think they're gonna hope for a season 4. They're gonna write for a possibility of a season 4, but I think they're gonna leave some loose ends open just in case.
Okay. Awesome. This is just the final poll we took at the end of the stream. Still, there's in this case, 24% of you out there that have watched the stream that think that this is the last season for the Orville. I am in no way worried about it. I do think though that we as a fandom need to react and we need to respond and we need to say we want more Orville.
Yes.
And if we do that, there will be some kind of continuity. Any thoughts on this poll, guys?
Yeah. I have an exclusive. If this doesn't pan out the way we all think it is, Seth MacFarlane is going to move into a brand new production. It's going to be mostly pornos.
Okay, so George has got Seth.
Mocklin pornos. Mocklin. Right.
Wasn't Norm the guy who had that gag on Saturday Night Live? He was talking about Spielberg, Kassenberg, and Giffen coming together to form a new company, and they're going to be producing mostly pornos.
Yes, it was.
Like that.
God bless Norm.
That That was the second best joke right after the OJ jokes.
Yeah.
Because it was all true.
Really quick, guys. Guys with channels. Captain Trek, what do you have coming up next?
Not sure what's coming up next, but I'll keep you all informed.
All right. Please put your channel in the chat if you can. You have wrench, right? Denali, anything about your comic book?
We're planning to launch either December or January. It's going to be fantastic. If you want to sign up,
That
for
looks
the
freaking amazing, by the way.
Yes. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, you can go to denali's.com, put in your email, and you'll be signed up easy as that. And in the meanwhile, you can join us roasting old shows with me and George on George's channel every Friday and Saturday at 11 p.m. Eastern. Oh, and then one more last thought. I'm hoping at the end of season 3 we get the Orville A making it its first appearance.
Oh wow, that's interesting. You know what? I forgot to ask you guys about that. Does anybody think that this new refurbished bridge is actually a new ship, or is it the refitted Orville? Any comments on that?
Refitted Orville, definitely.
Yep.
Anybody else?
It's safe to say that it's a refitted Orville.
Yeah, I think they're going to crash it onto a planet like they did with the Enterprise. What, 6, 7, 8 times so far?
Yeah. Well, they did it with C, and C was destroyed. They did it with what was it? A? Yeah, A and D and E.
Shane, is next thing for you guys is that video Saturday?
Yep, Saturday we've got the big Popcast Prime video on our regular Popcast channel, and then of course we've got the Popcast Live every Friday. We're doing that, which is a bunch of stories, kind of what's happening currently, and we get active, heated discussions. It's a lot of fun. That's Unleashed.
And if you guys are not a member of the Popcast channel, you guys definitely want to be, because it's a lot of fun, and their members only streams are great. And you guys see stuff on there first, and you see stuff there that's exclusive as well.
You get breaking news from us, which is cool. We've been doing like 15 minutes after it goes, then we come out and drop it to you guys.
Wow, awesome. Nate, any last time I asked you, when is your channel coming out?
I will let you know as soon as I get my new gaming engine.
But you said 2021.
My computer I have right now is crap. I got to get a new one. It's absolute crap. So it will be before this year is over. I guarantee it. Even if I have to do it on my phone, it will be before this year is over.
Awesome. We're looking forward to that.
Oh, for crying out loud. The guy's waiting for Santa Claus. That's what it is.
It's only a couple months away.
Guys, I want to thank you.
Say it louder so my wife can hear. Give her idea.
I want to thank all you guys. I want to thank George, Denali, Captain Trek, Shane, and Brian, Nate, Katie, Emmy nominated Katie. Now we have to say, Maria. Thank you guys all for joining us. Thanks again, Chuck Marble, Phantom Outsider, Planetary Federation, Martin, everybody, Captain Robert, April, everybody who's been in here, Bigfoot, Bonnie, everyone who's been in here, JP. Thanks for chiming in, JP, in the chat. Jeff B, everybody, Tink from Orville 24/7, Dalek, everybody who's been in here. Thank you so much, guys. Orville season 3 is gonna blow your socks off, but the fandom needs to show up. And you know what? The leaders in this fandom, like JP, the egotastic evangelist, the Orville evangelist, excuse me, the Popcast guys, they are leading the way. Stay tuned for that video from Shane and Brian. Some of the best videos on YouTube, to be honest. I love your Stargate stuff, Shane. It's amazing. So stay tuned for that guidance that they are giving us to bring back the Orville for season 4. Thank you, everybody.
I think a caveat to my prediction about the Orville season 4 announcement. I think we won't get an Orville season 4 announcement. They will give them a multiple season deal.
I like the sound of that. All right.
Yeah, that's a logical assumption. They wouldn't go to this level of effort in negotiations for a measly one season of 6 episodes. Absolutely not.
To God's ears, guys. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Be safe,
All right,
everybody.
thank you for having me.
Take care.
Thank
Have
you.
fun, but
Bye.
keep it legal.